Hey, welcome, everyone to CLOBBERIN Times. This is number something. 329 and issue number
We million.
we million. 329 on YouTube. 1029 overall, and this is of course CLOBBERIN's Clubhouse number 25.
Dun,
Nice.
dun, dun, dun.
Yes, indeed. Quick shout out, please. Eric, K, or any of you guys, can you tell us if you're hearing anything abnormal in the background besides me? Because we know I'm Abby normal. But
Allegedly, my feed was whistling, but
any kind of whistling or feed from, I'm going to stop talking after I ask you this for like a couple seconds and let me know if you hear anything other than just normal stuff. Go ahead. Okay. In that little brief, sounds okay, he says. Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. Thanks so much. I mean, we've got on our mic, on our, our headphones, we're hearing crazy stuff, but we've determined that it's coming through the StreamYards only. And we're, high pitch
There is
whistle.
a high pitch whistle, and
Scuba Pete, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear it too, and
I hear it, but Mark can't hear it.
Yeah, Mark
I can't hear it. But I'll mute myself.
But J-Man says sounds okay.
Yeah, see, when you mute it, it goes away.
Yeah, but
it must be because there's a tornado coming towards you. It's going to pick up your house and take you away. Yeah. Guard your dog, Toto.
I'm trying to whistle at work. I'm back now, but yeah.
Well,
that's weird. I mean,
do you whistle while you work?
Wait, thing is,
trying. Yeah.
Eric said sounds okay. Scuba says high pitch whistle, and J-Man says sounds okay, nothing weird. And I'm in that Sides After Dark. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey,
Tom.
It's Mark's PC. Yeah. Have the same issues on Talks Tuesday nights. Oh, okay. Okay.
Weird.
Thanks,
well, I
Tom.
better build another new PC. I don't know.
So you're saying we should make him walk the plank, is what you're saying?
Yeah, walk the plank. Yeah.
There's actually an app you can download to get rid of that.
Really?
Yeah. It will actually silence everything except for your voice, even if your kids are screaming behind you.
But I'm wondering if it's well, we won't get too technical, but I'm wondering, when I mute my mic, it's it's a USB mic, so
it's more faint now than it was earlier.
So. I'm wondering what it could be picking up. Let me turn my gain down on the mic. Just turn the gain down.
Tom said it was faint. Thank you for the help there, Tom. By the way, there we go.
Thank you.
I guess I'm used to it, but so.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, you better find another engineer.
Is the mic on the same table?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mic's on the table, but I have like a 40 or 50 pound stand, or like a 20-pound stand.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's a really super heavy stand.
So we'll get through it.
We'll do it. We'll do some
We'll
try to
handle
figure it out, guys.
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
Don't you know, dude? We're just glad you're here. That's the important thing. And hey, we're glad everyone is here tonight. For CLOBBERIN Times, CLOBBY'S Clubhouse, the Trinity, as always on Thursday nights. We're here, CLOBBY, Commander Briggs, and our chief engineer, Mark D with the C, to bring you just some crazy open geekness. And we got some fun topics for you tonight. First of all, a couple of show notes. Let's see. Saturday night is, as you all know, we do Saturday night Star Trek. We've done it for 63 weeks straight. Number one.
We have, Captain.
63 weeks in a row. And of course, that has put us right smack dab in the middle of Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 6. This Saturday night, because of the wonderful news that around the area where our wonderful first officer resides, things are opening up a little bit. Actually, finally gets to go out and have some fun on a Saturday night instead of spending up time with us.
Not allowed.
Yeah, she has an engagement.
You have a life. You're going to leave your parents' basement.
Yes. What are you doing? Trying to have a life and stuff. And
they've canceled every opera. Well, actually, no. They just canceled my front row seats due to safety concerns, and then they canceled the ballet due to the vid. And now I'm finally. I have season tickets to the ballet, and I finally get to go to the ballet. I'm going to emerge from the hovel and go and be with human beings.
Yes, indeed. I'm so happy for you. Hey, Saturday Night Star Trek will go on. We will have one. We just won't be reviewing those episodes, and I will do something. I'll be here, and we will We'll talk about Trek because
maybe
it's funny,
the talk about is the motion picture out? Oh no, that's next week. Sorry,
no,
next
I'm
Monday.
not gonna talk about that anyway.
Yeah.
Because I don't get because it's just on Paramount Plus. Don't get me pissed off. Oh, I hate it for that. Anyway, no, all right. We were talking about this the other night on Mark's great Sunday Night Geekery, and he was kind of joking around. What are you going to do when we're done reviewing it? We're talking about stuff. Why don't you review this next on Saturday night or that next on Saturday? No, Saturday night was always intended to be Saturday Night Star Trek, even before we started reviewing it. Yes. So after that's in a couple of years, when we're through reviewing all of Real Trek, all 735, all of Real Trek 66 through 05, we will do other Star Trek things. There will be other nights for reviewing other stuff that we love, of course.
Yes.
Saturday night
we're never going to stop talking about
So
Star
it's not
Trek.
going to become Blake 7 Saturday night. Or,
no, and I resent you for even coming on.
P Hard,
airing.
Series 20.
No. No, real. It's going to be about Star Trek. What if P Hard has nothing to do with Star Trek?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm whistling.
Whistle boy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yes. Anyway, we are very happy for Raquel to get to be doing that, but we'll be back the following week unless she gets something else to do. We'll wait whenever she comes back. The reviews will not ever happen without her, unless she decides to leave us and go.
I'm never leaving you. I love you. You're my home.
Becomes the captain of another ship or something.
No, that's never going to happen.
Let's say some hellos.
No mutinies here.
Yawarski's pool practice. Hello there, sir.
Hi.
Great to see you. Hey there. Pat S. Buddy. And a big shout out to the great Tom with Midnight's Edge popped in earlier. Tom, good to see you there, buddy. The great Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete and Leslie.
And Leslie, indeed. My cousin Dave Rayburn. What's up, cuz? Good to see you, bro.
Hey, cuz.
Hungry Boy, or Hungry Chewy. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Tom's still here. Tom.
And that was strictly from Raquel, Tom. I love you. I love you, but man,
either. Yep.
A handshake, dude, is all I can offer. Let's see here. Who else was here? I knew someone else was here. Oh, J-Man was here. Great friend J-Man.
He was.
Jay is the man, by the way. The great bronze wrencher himself, Eric K. Super Kal-El.
Kal-El, the real soup.
The real Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see this, boss?
Blah, blah,
Leslie's
blah, blah,
here
blah.
as well. And she
Oh.
yelled back, hello.
Hey, Wesley. Good. Leslie. Sorry. I was, did I say Wesley? Oh. You know why I said
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I think I said Wesley because anytime you force yourself to watch the filth, we find out there's something even not as bad as Wesley Crusher, and it's the filth. Even though, there we go.
Is Discovery worse than P Hard?
Did you hear about him whining that Bill was mean to him?
Oh, poor baby. We were chatting. It was mean. Did you see that? Thank you, Eric K, for that, buddy. Appreciate you. Oh, he was mean to the poor window bitty Wesley.
Well, actually, I retweeted your video, Raquel, back
Which
out
one?
in response to that. Your Bye Wesley video.
Yes.
In response
Bye,
to
Wesley. Good. I'm glad. I love you. That's terrific. That's how you handle it tonight. Not only do I have a ton of Star Trek show and tell, but I'm going to address some comments being made by Michael Okuda and other people in Star Trek. And I'm going to give irrefutable proof of their straw man bullshittery. I beg your pardon for the profanity, but
language.
Good show tonight. Sit tight. We're definitely going to be getting into it.
Wait, did you mean this, Wesley? What?
You know what? I think they invented chroma key just so that I could do that.
Yes, Xerox. Zacharot, sorry, 315. Hello there, sir. By the way, our good buddy J-Man is also watching your latest obsession.
Yes.
UFO.
It's
He
good
is
stuff.
watching it.
UFO.
And he's early on in it. He's watching it so far, so that's cool. I've been enjoying it.
It is life.
Let's see
UFO
here.
is life.
Hades says Saturday night Gold Key Star Trek comics review, 6 comic books each Saturday night. Who knows? That might happen. You never know. I've done a show about the history of Star Trek comics before, but you never know. Maybe years down the road we'll do that again. We're actually going to review a Trek comic or two every now and then on this show eventually.
Great.
I'm in for that. I learned everything I know about Gold Keys from you, Clobby, and the rest of your gaggle of experts, and I absolutely love them. I would like to finish the collection. It's just really expensive, but one day I'm going to do it. I love my Gold Keys.
Whoa, look.
They're works of art.
We have another Blake 7 convert, man. Or he's on the road. School Pete's watching Blake 7. Well, I'm so happy that we
amazing.
got more Blake 7 fans out there.
Season 2. Oh, season 2 is a great season.
I love season 2.
But season 2 I think is a highlight. Yep.
School Pete, that's great, man. I'm glad to hear that. Another show note. Monday night Mark C Comics Talk, the great Mark D with his C, engineer, and the great Lord Thoth will join me for another CLOBBERIN Comics. Excuse me, I can't know my name anymore. CLOBBERIN Classic Comics Review. Ugh, damn it, Jesus Christ. Lovely Sherry, beautiful lady. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, sweetheart.
We will be reviewing the classic early 1980s Wolverine miniseries. Just a landmark watershed moment in comic book history by Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, and Joseph Rubinstein. Of course, if any of you have ever read this classic here, and we shall review all 4 issues of this baby.
One of the all-time greats.
Dun, 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 dun.
It was just, one of the most important and biggest events in comics at the time. Yeah, so.
That was huge. That was huge. Because there weren't that many limited series. I think this was the 2nd or 3rd limited series,
at that time, it was one of the very first limited series, like 2nd or 3rd, like you say. And when that first issue came out, as you can see all the way in the top left corner, his first issue, we were, Wolverine had been in the X-Men, of course, but no, he'd never been on a solo other than an earlier issue of the X-Men called Wolverine Alone. Monkey Jeebus, good to see you.
Monkey Jeebus!
And he was very popular, but he'd never had his own solo adventure, and we were all pretty excited to see it. Everyone loved Frank Miller's Daredevil and stuff, and it was huge. X-Men was about the biggest thing going in comics at that point, just about. And when he got his own series, in that first issue, as you can see there, issue 1, with him, holding his claw with his finger saying, "Come and get it."
Yeah,
everyone was so nuts for that. The comic shop I was running at the time, we made our comic shop T-shirts out of that. We took that cover, had it made with our logo on it, and it was just like that was the big deal, man. Everybody was just, wow, that was talk of the town in comic shops everywhere.
I think pretty much everyone knows that image, even if you don't read comic books. That's been
seen it at some point.
Cover number 1. You've seen it somewhere, right? Yeah,
yeah. And that opening page where it was him fighting the gigantic grizzly bear, saying, "I'm Wolverine. I'm the best at what I do. What I do is not very nice." That's classic comic book lore right there. So it will be fun tearing that one to pieces in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. We'll get out our claws for that one. Yep.
Yes, indeedishness.
I got to bring out my Wolverine statue for that one. Yep. My first, the bad one and the good one. Yeah. I got the first, first porcelain Wolverine statue. I don't know if you remember that porcelain line that came out.
Parrot Head.
Hey, Parrot Head.
Yes, you have that one. You showed. I think did you show that?
I think I might have showed. Well, I showed some pictures of it. I'll dig it out of the basement and dust it off. Yep.
Linzer. Zachariah says I only have a few Wolverine comics. Pat S is still making suggestions here. Well, we could also do After Trek and spend a Saturday night each with a TJ Hooker Rescue 911 in search of Boston legal moves. Well, I support you doing that on any channel you want, sir. If
Just Joe, that's not off topic, and we can talk about that if you'd like.
Jobber Buddy, good to see you, man. Here we go. Just Joe says, here's for the tip jar. This is off topic, but what do you think of Bruce Willis's retirement from acting. What is his best non-Die Hard role? That is a good question, buddy. Good to see it. I think it's obviously, like everyone else, I think that it's a very sad state of affairs. I'm very sad to hear about it because he's one of my favorite actors. Yes, Die Hard is almost excluded because it's just so obvious to pick it. It probably is my favorite of his films. Before he did Die Hard, I remember, and I did have my shop at the time. Before he did Die Hard, I was such a huge fan of Moonlighting.
I was going to say that. You stole my answer.
You stole mine. You stole my answer.
That was a TV show, so we'll pick movies in a minute. But I was going, I don't want to see him running around. I just couldn't buy him as cop.
Yeah.
Or running around, being a tough guy. Changed my mind with the movie, which I went and saw. In fact, it was my birthday, and the movie had been in the theaters a couple of weeks, and I had no interest in seeing it. Claude had seen it. He loved it. And he dragged me to see it for my birthday so that they could have a surprise birthday party for when I got back to the shop, which pissed me off, by the way. But anyway, we went and saw it. And of course, I fell in love with the movie, and it was great. But if I had to pick that's a good question. Favorite Bruce Willis movie besides Die Hard? I might pick an unconventional one.
12 Monkeys?
No, I never watched that.
Ew.
Okay.
A lot of people like it.
A lot of people like it though. Yeah.
I never looked.
Glencer's here.
Sorry
to interrupt.
I said hello to Glencer.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize. Glencer, hello.
Good to see you, Glencer. Good to see you, Cardinal Sin. Hey, buddy. I'm going to shock a lot of people here. I wasn't the biggest fan of The Fifth Element. I have every respect for it. I didn't like it when it first came out, and I don't know.
Ew.
So I'll pick my favorite. But first, I want to say thank you to Cardinal Sin for the $10 super chat. You're too kind, buddy. Thank you so much. You're very generous. I appreciate that. I just got home. Just got done streaming. Said raid on CLOBBERIN's channel. Hello and much love to CLOBBERIN's. CLOBBERIN Times from Raquel and Mark D. Thank you so much, sir. You always do quality shows and are a slick, well-oiled machine. Well,
thank you.
You were too kind, buddy. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. And please, everyone, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Cardinal Sin's channel. There's a link in my description below. And, dude, I was skulking around YouTube before I got started. I didn't even see you on there. I would have stopped in. But I was doing a bunch of show stuff. Let's see here.
Chris is here.
Chris Persia, what's up, brother?
Yay! Blowing billions of kisses to Chris Persia. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. And Parrothead just walked through the door.
Parrothead, he's been here for Parrothead. He popped in a little while ago. Yep.
Great.
Everyone loves Fifth Element. Don't listen to me. I'm trying to think, though.
Ooh, I don't like Fifth Element.
I love Fifth Element. Yep.
Most people like it.
That's okay, Mark. You're allowed. I don't mind when you're wrong, sweetheart. You're right so much that it's okay when you're wrong.
All right, I'm gonna write a 3,000 word essay and prove my point. Yep.
I
will make you like it. I will make you like it.
I love The Last Boy Scout, but if Steve Mitchum, what's up, bro?
Hey, Steve Mitchum, evening.
Okay. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it might be. So here's what I'm going to pick if not my favorite, because I haven't sat down and looked at all and go, oh, that one. This is just off the cuff. I love Unbreakable.
Yep.
That might be my favorite.
That's a great one.
That's a good choice.
I love, the sequel was a shame. I love Sixth Sense. I did love The Sixth Sense, but I loved Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Glass? I still haven't watched that.
I did. I went to the theater. I was looking forward to that.
Not good.
Oh, I was disappointed. Split wasn't very good either. Split was the middle one.
Yeah, that was the middle one. Yep.
Remember because they come out with Split and he pops up at the end of it.
At the very end, and
now
it's the same universe. Yeah.
When you put the three movies together, Unbreakable, Split, Glass.
Yeah.
16 Blocks. I think I saw that lovely Sherry. You like that one, do you? There you go. I love The Last Boy Scout, even though he's just, he's John McClane with a drinking problem. And then when Die Hard 3 came along, he became Joe Hallenbeck instead of John McClane. But that's just me. We've already had that argument. But I'm so easygoing on the Die Hard movies. The only one I think's unbelievably horrible is the last one. But I'm fine with the other ones, but nothing touches the original, of course.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis did so many movies the last few years. I kept seeing him popping up. So either he was being taken advantage of, or he needed the money, or not the time to go there. But I'm just looking at his bio. And,
but what if it wasn't any of those things? I mean,
I
think people are really cynical, and I also think people are really cruel. When I saw tweets going out like that, I was absolutely disgusted. Yes, folks, unfortunately, I am back on Twitter. But what if it was just a really naturally talented person who's really good at what he does, moving from television into film. And when he received his diagnosis, he said, I want to work. I want to work as long as I'm able to. And I think that that's probably closer to the truth. And I think people saying that he wants to make as much money as he possibly can, or any of these other things, I think that's quite cruel, and I think that's quite cynical. And I don't think it's in keeping with his persona, like who he is as a person, at least the way that he has portrayed himself to us. I think he's a
unfortunately,
superstar.
though, when you get sick like that, and
That's
who
true.
knows, and you're not in command of your faculties, and unfortunately, I've seen that in my family and other families, and we know about Stan Lee, and I don't know, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying it's unusual. He did 7 movies in 2002, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies, and then almost 8 or 7 movies the year before. So really, his last big movie was Glass, and then Motherless Brooklyn, and then
still,
I
if
love
somebody
Bruce.
gave
I
me
love
a
Bruce
diagnosis
Willis.
like that, and the first thing I would do is I would sit down every single day and I would write every single day. Time is almost up. Let's get it all out. Let's get it all out. And that's what I see, because of course I do respect him as an artist. I mean, he's, I would say he's an action hero more than anything else.
Yeah.
But I do love that person. I think that person is still old school Hollywood. I do think that he is surrounded by people who love him, and I don't think it's a Nichelle Nichols or a situation where someone is being taken advantage of in that way. But I just wish people would be a little more kind to Bruce.
Well, I don't know if sorry, I was just gonna say I haven't watched any of these movies, so I don't know. But I just kept popping up on my Netflix feed, and wow, Bruce Willis has been a lot of movies,
Yeah.
And he was
lots of people are talking about it, Mark. You're not alone.
Yeah, but go ahead.
No, I was just going to answer what he was. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I love those picks. I thought, you love the guy in as a TV star too, and Moonlighting. If you guys haven't watched, anyone who hasn't watched Moonlighting, not saying go watch the whole series, but
watch the first 3 seasons.
Watch a little bit of it, and then when you go to his movie career, I'm gonna get some raspberries, but I love the movie Armageddon. I'll die on that. I love
Mazarus. Hello, Mazarus.
Yay, Mazarus!
Hey, Mazarus. Yeah.
Good to see you.
I love the line. I love the line when the guys are going to go to the moon and they don't want to pay taxes. It's like, ever again. I love that line. I love the characters. I love how he sacrifices himself in the end. It's just the old school movie. I know it's a silly. I know, but I had a great time in the movie theater. It was fun, and you got a great cast of characters, and you got space shuttles and cool stuff happening. Yeah, it's a stupid movie, but it's for me, it's a fun popcorn movie. Pulp Fiction, I don't know if you'd consider him a star.
Lovely Sherry loves that one.
Yeah.
Lovely Sherry's a big fan of that one there.
Yeah, so's my husband. Not a huge fan of Pulp Fiction, but Joe bringing that up, I think we should say on air, at least I would like to use my time on air since it's been tabled, to say that Bruce Willis, thank you for your body of work. You entertained us, you made us laugh, you made us cry, you excited us, and you did it all being a kind and sweet person. And we wish you the best. And at least for my part, I respect your privacy and the way that you decided to tell everyone. And we're here for you. And you're pretty great. You're a pretty terrific guy.
As Joe says, Jobber says, to their credit, the Razzies decided to get rid of the worst Bruce Willis acting award after they heard the condition. Yeah, he was in a bunch of movies, and they were but it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. They made this list because he was in so many movies in one year that they made a whole category for him. But yeah,
they erased it. Good.
Yeah, I wonder if they had the guts to put any Disney crap on their Razzies, like Eternals. They probably didn't. So Turo, hello.
Turd. TURD.
Cardinal Sin for the $10. Thank you so much again, buddy. And he says, your content is great. Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate you anyway. You're too kind. Come for the content, stay for the great chemistry and knowledgeable, fun delivery. CLOBBY'S Clubhouse is always a blast, a good time, and most of my favorite people. Man, it feels weird having me read that. You just wanted me to feel awkward reading that, Cardinal. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, Gil is a terrific guy. Gentlemen, I'm going to interrupt because I want to welcome Turo here. Hello, Turo, and Turo. Max Redstone.
On a different YouTuber stream, Max, good to see you there, bro. I commented F Hollywood, and the mod gave me a warning. Meanwhile, YouTubers' guests were cursing. I don't understand the logic. Well, I don't either. If you just wrote the word, I mean, obviously, you can get in trouble in the chat if you put the whole F word in there.
Yeah.
But F Hollywood, well, hey, to hell with Hollywood. So I'm with you there, and I think that's a little silly. I don't know who it is, but
sometimes people don't want the language, not the sentiment in the chat,
right?
Just because it might demonetize them. Not
they were already cussing on the thing anyway. Though.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. But just sometimes, and also don't forget too, mods are we love having people mod us, and they're maybe sometimes I shouldn't say overprotective, but they're protective of the show. So if the host says I don't want any bad language, yeah, it's a YouTube. Sometimes it's just the YouTube algorithm too. It'll just nuke things that the mods don't even nuke, and then we don't nuke, and it's just you don't know what the heck happened. So, it's a weird thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Turo. I understand. Well, we're pretty easy going here. Obviously, we even sometimes people will put something that is not objectionable, and the YouTube algorithm itself will knock
vaporize
it. So you never know what'll happen there. So
that's right. That's right.
We don't know how heavily Bruce is affected by aphasia, and with his kids having grown up, he has more time on his hands. Perhaps Bruce wanted to stay busy doing films instead of being coerced. Chris Berger, that could be
agreed.
Could well be the case. I loved Moonlighting.
Yep.
It was a great show. The first 3 seasons, anyway, until they kind of messed it up when they got together and all that stuff.
Yeah, they should have never gotten together.
But the thing about it was, that's what I'm saying. People say he's not a one-note actor because he had great comedy timing on that show.
I just started something.
Bruce also made me drink a Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. He's that good.
That's a Gen X joke. I would just like to say I appreciate the Gen X joke. Nothing could make me drink Seagram's Gold Wine Cooler. None. Not even Seagram's Berry Cooler. They were nasty. And that is a hysterical Gen X joke. Pat S. Thank you for that.
Pat S. That's awesome.
Thank you, Pat S. So anyway, that's the damn
box
shame.
One.
The Whole 9 Yards. I didn't see that one. There's a lot of them I haven't seen.
Whole 9 Yards is fantastic. If you haven't seen Whole 9 Yards,
go, Odd Man Out. Hey there.
Yeah, with Matthew Perry. That was
Hudson
good.
Hawk. I'm sorry. I can't take a chance on Hudson Hawk. No.
Well, the one that we got to mention too. Obviously, was one of those great. It was a fantastic movie. As well. It was just after Armageddon was. The movie with the I See Dead People. What was that?
It's like Sixth Sense. We mentioned that one. That's
That's
one of my favorite. I love Sixth Sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's just in the performance of that. It's just so amazing. His performance, and he sells that movie right till the end. I mean, with
he does.
With that whole no spoilers, but that's one where you don't want to have if you haven't seen it, you don't want to have a spoiler on that one. But just so amazing when you get to the end of that movie.
Like, it really is. Don't spoil it. It's only been 30 years. 20 years.
It's only been 20 years,
1999. Eric K., the master of mods who should know, he says, sometimes the mods are told one thing by the host, then mods, then by the host, then mods, then the host, then throw all of the window. Alan. I think I have that a Frasier thing now. Window by saying all the same things you need to, as a mod, change how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
they lay
Yeah.
the ground rules and sort of
Right.
thinking that, okay, this show is going to be monetized, and then afterwards the conversation gets so heated. They of course they tell the mods, yes, this will be PG this evening, and then the conversation gets so heated that they just throw all caution to the wind. Out comes the profanity. They dig into it,
Yep.
and they know inside of their mind, they decide live on air that they'll either clip that part out or they'll accept the demonetization because they're enjoying the conversation. And that's not easy for the wrenches to deal with. You know, Eric wrenches on some huge shows. So does Chris. Chris is, of course, the great wrench of the North,
The
and
bronze
Eric is
wrencher.
the great wrench of the South. So we've got two of the best wrenches, literally, on all of YouTube with us this evening. So
The wrench of bronze.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I tell you what. We have some stuff for you guys tonight. Some stuff and some things and some things and stuff. Shall we? I'm not. Oh, I was almost going to quote. Oh, no, I'm not going to even do it. No, I almost quoted filth. Just as a joke. And even as a joke.
Inconceivable.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why? So, well, number one, tell us what you got.
I have show and tell this evening.
Show and tell. Here's a theme song, that folks. Show and tell, show and tell, show and tell, show and tell. Sorry.
We have great production values here.
Yes.
So, Mark sends me the new Uhura coin that is the only Uhura, and he's showing it to me, and it is so weird that he sent this to me. As many of you know, we walkie-talkie because we're like kids. Mark, Clobby, and I constantly walkie-talkie on WhatsApp. And so what's really strange is this is how closely aligned our thinking
Good night,
is
J-Man.
as
Take care,
friends
J-Man.
in real life. Good night, J-Man. I was going to show this. It's my stamp and coin collection from Star Trek. Dun, dun, dun,
Nice.
G-Man, also tell the missus that I said goodnight to, please.
Take care, buddy.
So here you have it, folks. Mark was walkie-talkieing me the stuff from America, and here's your stuff from Canada. This is 10 permanent stamps from the 50. And of course, I bought them because I needed to have them. And of course, I would never use them. And if anybody tried to use them, there would be some bad stuff happening.
Disintegrator time.
It would be more than shin kicks. I would need more than an agonizer. I would actually need. I would want a Klingon disruptor.
Yeah.
So these are these glorious, gorgeous stamps. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful? There's my man there. You see
Those
my
are
man?
nice, yeah.
Yes.
And on September 8, 1966, Star Trek's first episode, The Man Trap, aired on NBC. Although the show starring the charismatic Canadian actor Bill Shatner as a dashing lead lasted just 3 seasons, it launched 13 movies and 50 years of television shows, books, and games. Now, with a worldwide following, the Star Trek franchise continues to expand at warp speed. So this is more of the stamps, and this is what the stamp collection looks like. Oh, and here is my $20 silver coin. Definitely wasn't $20. I don't remember how much it was. I just remember that it was stupid, sick, expensive.
That's Canadian currency, or that's U.S. Canadian?
No,
Nice.
This one's Canadian.
You guys get all the cool stuff.
Wow, yeah.
And well, a lot of the people in Star Trek are Canadians, and Canadians are like crazy. So for Star Trek, so yeah. So here you have it. This is the mintage. There are less than 300,000 of these coins. They are 100% pure, fine silver, and the weight is nearly 8 grams. And it's 27 millimeters. It's worth $20, but of course costs a lot more than that to buy, and will be worth more than that in short order. And here it is, from the Royal Canadian Mint.
Wow.
I love it very much. It's like one of my favorite things on my shelf. I
That's
thought you
awesome.
all would enjoy this. There it is.
You realize I do know your address.
Yes. It's okay. I would share with you. Like, you're one of my best
kidding.
friends
I'm
ever.
joking.
Of course I'd share with you.
Joking.
And these are from the Royal Canadian Mint. My husband actually thought that these were all going to come as one collection, like the 50 coin did. He didn't realize that, so he paid a lot of money, expecting there to be it to be all together. It was actually just for one.
Oh.
So they were literally 4 times more expensive than he thought they were going to be. I have never opened these. This will be the first time. This afternoon is the first time I ever opened them. So these are my Royal Canadian Mint coins. This is my 50 of course, Leonard Nimoy.
Wow.
So this is a $10 fine silver coin, also from the Canadian Mint, from 2016. So I've had them for a while.
Welcome, Oliver.
Hi, Oliver Belamonte. It's nice to see you. This is my Scotty.
Greatness.
Yeah. And of course, again, $10 coin. This is my Uhura, Nichelle Nichols. And this is my Captain Kirk. And then I wanted to show you what they looked like inside. So this is what the $10 Kirk coin looks like. It's a photograph of William Shatner.
Is that painted or is that a...
No,
it looks really good.
I believe that's right in with the coin, like our toonie. And so it's magnetized, and you open it up, and then inside on the bottom part is the coin, and then in the top part is folded in is your certificate of authenticity, and then what each character would most be known for or synonymous with. Yes, Scuba Pete, no Lazarus coin. And of course, here's Scotty, and Scotty's box is red, and he gets the communicator. Just absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, you can see my stupid phone in the coin because, of course, these are
reflection.
Yeah. They've never been opened.
That's a beautiful presentation.
Yeah, they're quite gorgeous. I have them in my office, but as I said, these are the first time they actually come in a box, in a clear box from the mint. So this is the first time they were taken out of the clear box from the mint and opened up. So, and this is, of course, my beautiful Spock, Leonard Nimoy, and they give him the phaser. And, of course, his is green-blooded, and beautiful. And here's Nichelle's, Uhura's. She looks gorgeous. Beautiful. Of course, she gets the tricorder, being the communications director, and obviously astronaut, who is in charge of all that. So there they are. And
nice.
Actually, I had
pop culture.
I had them all together, but I guess I didn't fold those into the presentation. But yeah, so there they are.
Those are awesome.
And, well, thank you. And so, yeah, so there's the 50, and then there were these 4 coins. And I love them very much. And so, yeah, I thought you would enjoy them, Mark and Clobby and everyone at home. And that's my presentation.
Really great, yeah. But you should have those out so everyone you can see them every day, though, too. Even though those boxes look nice, but yeah,
they
faded. I guess,
they get faded and stuff. But yeah, so I do have them out, but I just don't let anyone touch them.
You know the line from Spinal Tap, like when he's showing his guitar collection, and he's like, and it was with Rob Reiner. He's interviewing him, and he's like, "Listen to that sustain." He's not playing it, and he's like, at the end, he's like, he's touching. He's like, well, don't even look at him. Just don't even look. You know, it's like his guitar collection.
Yeah,
amazing.
Exactly.
It's beautiful stuff there.
Yeah, like I might let you breathe in the same area as them, but just not too heavy. Otherwise, I might do one of those clobby smacks. You know how Clobby always says, "Take your own hand, put it behind your head, or just give it a whack."
And smack yourself.
Give it a whack. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the Canadian stamps and the Canadian coins, and probably the only person who has seen these before is Chris. And so yeah, so this is this was available in Canada for people who love Star Trek.
That's really
wow.
awesome. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I did show some stamps. Did I show them on last week on the show, or I can't remember.
A couple weeks, maybe.
A couple weeks, yeah. So we did get some stamps. I don't think we ever got any, but those stamps look even cooler. And
I know people who bought these stamps and used them, Mark.
Well, you know, I have some really good friends who know how much I love genre stuff. So like they'll buy stamps like these and send me like a Christmas card.
That's exactly what
happened.
A
postcard to me. With one of those stamps on them, and I'm like, you shouldn't have used it. But then again,
I always save the envelope. Then
I save the envelope too. But
yep.
But of course, it's cool. Like I have a thing, you know, first day of issue, Fantastic Four stamp. So it's someone, you know, I bought on eBay. You know, you get it on my door. I'll get it later, maybe. But you know, it's kind of cool too. People like having these things mailed, and then you save the envelope too, which is really cool.
Yeah, and they don't care. Like they don't care about the stamps like we do. So it's pretty incredible. And yeah, I usually get a surprise around my birthday or around Christmas time. And someone will send me a letter, and they will be generous enough to have saved these stamps just for me. And so that happens with me as well. So I have a couple of the Spocks from my cousin who loves me, and I love her very much. So yeah, I really enjoy them, but it's really cool. But of course, I would never use mine. Otherwise, I would have to take I would have to take my hand and put it behind the back of my head and just smack myself really hard.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, so yeah, but I do love them, and I thought you would find it interesting. So if you do that Uhura coin, Mark, you might want to go and have a look around. Claude is here.
Claude.
Good evening, Mr. Parrish.
Yo.
There's a funny and sweet and cool guy.
Where?
So
he's asking if you're a philanthropist. Just kidding.
No. But
philatelist. No, a philatelist.
I know. That's
but
wise guy,
I didn't know you. Never mind.
You might want to look into adding these to your collection. You would most certainly be able to buy them with our dollar not being on par, your dollar being more powerful at this time. So this would be a very good time for you if you're going to go ahead and do that Uhura thing to go ahead and grab these as well.
I'm Googling.
Charles, like, what's making this squeaky noise?
Star Trek coins. Yep.
It's Mark's. It's Mark's fan on his computer, but we're going to get him to take we're going to get him to take his microphone and make it independent from his desk, so it's not feeding into.
Is that what that does?
His
What's
mic.
doing it?
That's weird because the weird thing is my keyboard is on a separate shelf, not attached to the. It's separate from the desk where the computer is. So,
well, we don't know that's we don't know that that's what it is yet, do we? Or
unless it's like
I'm pretty sure
or something.
Because and you say they said it does it on. Well, I guess I hear. I can't remember if I heard it on your show Sunday night, but they say it happens on Toxic Tuesdays or whatever as well. Huh? So.
Really weird.
Max Redstone's asking, Raquel, do you Spock your Canadian finners? I have never Spocked a Canadian finner. I have been looking for one for many years. I owned a bar for about a decade and a half, and I saw them all the time, and I never took them because they were everywhere. And I'm kicking myself now because I haven't seen a really good Spock finner in a long time. But it is a Canadian tradition to Spock your $5 bill, and I'm looking for one.
I'm just hilarious. I think I can't even tell you why I think it's hilarious that Claude mentioned philatelist. You know what a philatelist is, right?
I have no idea.
Really? Neither one of you?
Yeah.
Nope.
A stamp collector.
A stamp collector.
That's right. Okay.
Did not know that. I am not a stamp collector, although I did like stamps when I was quite young.
He mentioned it for a different reason, though.
Oh.
He did it to get me to laugh because it's based on a joke from Firesign Theater. Yeah, I know no one out there knows who Firesign Theater is, but we do. We're sick. So it's I'll tell you about it later after the show, what it means.
So
I haven't seen that word in years, but go ahead.
So this is the end of my presentation on this. Now I have something else that I need to talk about.
All right. Go for it.
All right.
You got
So,
the con.
all right, I'm going to take the floor, and I'm going to try and be as brief as possible. But I just want to put something to rest forever and ever. All over the internet, you are seeing people make this argument. Star Trek has always been political. And this week, Michael Okuda, who I love Michael Okuda. I respect him. I think he's a wonderful person in his, and what he contributed to Star Trek is fabulous. But I would just like to say that this week he put up a post, and he says this a lot, but this week it particularly got under my skin because the way he said it. And he said, Star Trek has always been political. On the Lieutenant, Gene Roddenberry's series before Trek, scripts on racial bigotry and the inhumanity of warfare met network censorship. Gene Roddenberry designed Star Trek to use science fiction allegory to tell stories that wouldn't otherwise be allowed on network TV. Now, I just want to settle this forever. On Saturday Night Star Trek, I've talked about it a lot, and the people who are a part of our community understand this. But I think it's high time that I just show you the receipts. And that's internet talk for let's do some in-text citation. Let's show some references.
Absolutely.
Let's get this done. Because Michael Okuda saying this is a bromide, okay? It's an insincere fallacy. The issue isn't establishing if Star Trek was always political. That's a straw man argument. That's getting somebody to argue something that you're not arguing. Okay?
Exactly.
What we're arguing is that Gene's Star Trek has been recast as a hyper-didactic, corporate and political hegemonic device. And I want you to know that Gene Roddenberry specifically addressed this. He specifically addressed this before he died in I believe it was a 4-day interview with Humanist magazine. He addressed this directly in 2 or 3 spots in this 4-day interview. And it's very important to realize no one who is a real Star Trek fan, who isn't some troll on the internet, is arguing that Star Trek isn't political. That's a bunch of garbage. That's like I said, that's the straw man thing. But I want to unpack this so that you can understand. I studied writing and editing in university. And one thing that we learned is that hyperdidacticism in writing is not good. That's hyperdidacticism is when you over moralize. It's when you treat your audience as though they're children, and it can be a weird experience because it not only infantilizes the person's mind, but it turns them off. And so this is why in editing and writing we learn that hyperdidacticism is not good. And when we talk about corporate and political hegemony, what we're talking about is getting your ideas from a corporation, not from an author. If an author wants to engage with you and have a great conversation with you about some controversial issues, you will probably really enjoy that. You might feel challenged. You might agree. You might disagree. There's a huge difference between that and getting your moral, ethical, and you know your ethics and everything you know and everything you believe from a corporation. You don't need to learn your morality from a corporation. You know, plenty of scholars, including myself, describe the corporation as something that's psychotic. It's a being that has like First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights. It has all these rights, and it's just a collection of money that decides how to make more money. And so it's very important that we make these distinctions. No one is arguing that Star Trek isn't political and has never been political. That's a straw man argument. Don't argue it back anymore. And Gene Roddenberry did not want his stories to become corporate and political hegemony. And he definitely did not want them to be hyperdidactic and this over moralizing, treating you like a child that needs to be scolded. And so we're going to end that here tonight.
Nice.
Before you, what you see is I believe it's about an 80-page manuscript. I think this particular version is 55 pages. This is the 4-day interview with Humanist Magazine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you to page 26. Now, this is a really long interview. I've read it many times in my life. And it's an in-depth interview. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just open this up on my computer, and I'm going to read to you this particular passage.
It doesn't let you zoom in on that, I guess, right on the.
No, it doesn't. But
yeah.
But this is page. Let's just.
I can't really tell.
Just let me get to it, folks. Okay, so it's on page 26 of 55 in this particular version of the PDF. All right. And this, I will be making this available to the public, although I regularly tell everyone on Saturday Night Star Trek that they need to go and get this humanist article because sometimes it's taken down. And when it's taken down, it gets abridged and then it gets put back up again. And I don't know why this keeps happening, but it's quite annoying. I do know that in my Star Trek files, the original that I have is around 80 pages. It's now abridged to 55, but the good stuff is still there. Let's get into it, shall we? This is the interviewer, Alexander, speaking with Gene Roddenberry days before he died. Alexander, you said that the studio will continue to produce the next generation as long as it makes money. Roddenberry, yes, as long as it makes money. And to make money, it has to have general audience approval. Should I start venting my feelings about God, religion, and so on to the point that it becomes hurtful to people and of their feelings? I will not be doing a good job. Alexander, both your feet seem firmly planted on the ground and you have resisted any temptation to be preachy on the show. Roddenberry, because I would not be doing a good job there either. Alexander, the show, the product, is your first responsibility? Roddenberry, for several reasons. The main reason is that people must watch the product and be enthusiastic about it for me to get my message across. If my product was not successful, I would not be able to do some of the scripts you have admired. The reason I can do them is because the numbers and ratings are right. I think in my own defense, that I also make the numbers right by doing the program well. Alexander, and you don't beat us over the head with your message? Roddenberry, I think that everybody who is capable of understanding my points understands them. Would I like to be able to say, screw censorship and screw making the show successful and just say what I really feel? Yeah, I would. But it's something that would not be in the best interest of the show. And I think I would rapidly lose my audience. Alexander.
Wow.
But if you could, would the show be dramatically different than what it is right now? Oh, yes. Roddenberry. Ah, yes. I do stories you couldn't approach right now. Would you still draw the audience, Alexander says? Roddenberry says, no. Alexander says, so you would have all these great points and no one watching. What are you going to do? What are you doing now is obviously the way to go. Roddenberry, it's the only way to go. The only way to do otherwise is to enter another market like books or something where you're happy for a small audience. You don't do that in television and be successful. Alexander, that's true. It's a medium for mass audience, a mass medium to sell stuff. Yes, Roddenberry says, yes, it works out pretty well. I think sometimes the very fact of there being limitations on what you can do forces you into being more creative. Wow. Now, There are other places in this document that I will post where he talks about this idea of venting your personal views on politics, sex, and religion, how it's unprofessional and how it's misguided, and so he unfurls this argument fully and completely. These aren't sound bites. This is a 55 to, I seem to recall it being around 80-page manuscript that talks about this. And so I want you to be armed with this, and I want you to be able to articulate your defense of Gene Roddenberry. And some of you, you're not academics, you're not scholars, and you get flustered when somebody starts arguing and fighting with you and condemning you for the things that you know are true, but you're just having a difficult time articulating yourself in public, or you don't have the resources. I want you to know that I know that you're sincere, and I know that you're not arguing that Star Trek was never political. No one's arguing that. I know that. And I know that these bromides, I know these fallacies, these straw man arguments, these red herrings that you're seeing all over the internet that sort of demean you and wag their finger at you. I want you to know that those people are 100% full of SHIT. In this interview, Gene Roddenberry even talks about getting into fights with people like Michael Piller over being contemptuous towards religious people, where he would actually go in and change the script. And Gene Roddenberry went from being in the Baptist church to being an agnostic, to being a humanist, to edging upon being an atheist. And here he was, making sure that people were not condemning people who believe in God. And that's also in this interview. And I can actually, I'm not going to search it right now, but I just want you to know that Gene sincerely believed, it was Gene's philosophy, that you should not make the show your venting or hyper-didactic personal views or political views or sexual views or religious views, and stuffing it down people's throats and making them feel ashamed. That's not what he wanted to do at all. That beautiful relationship you had with Gene Roddenberry was you speaking to another human being, not to a corporation, but to another human being, about your thoughts on the way society was changing, the things you believed, and what it was like to have a difference of opinion with someone else. And so I hope that this little segment sheds some light on that truth, and that you will always stand up for the truth of Gene Roddenberry and the true things that he said, because he really, really wanted to draw people nearer to him to change hearts and minds. He wanted real civic engagement, and he did that as an artist, an author, and a creator. He did not do that as a corporation condemning, wagging fingers, and inviting politicians on his show. He did not believe in it. We have it in his own words. We have it in his own words.
I bet Michael O'Keefe never read that.
No,
going to go out on a limb.
Then
go out on a limb and say no.
Then he should not speak for him. And that's why I decided to bring the document here tonight to give Gene Roddenberry's exact words. And this isn't the only place in this 4-day conversation where he talks about this. Gene was very particular. Gene felt that you could catch more bees with honey than with vinegar. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to do these wonderful things, but he also wanted to engage people in this critical thinking where they would be intrigued, plugged in, wanting to be affected by somebody else's opinion, and come out on the other side shaking hands with understanding and caring attitudes. No belligerence, no basket of deplorables, none of that stuff. And he was very articulate and specific in how he described how that was going to happen. And so I wanted to share that with you today. So,
so
don't
glad
let
you
other
did.
people speak for Gene Roddenberry, and don't let people tell you. Don't get people to draw you into arguments that you're not even making. Just speak the truth, and I hope you find this enlightening, and
Yes.
I hope you use it all. I hope you all use it for good, and that is the end of this little presentation. And I love y'all. That's it.
That was outstanding, number one.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's
Outstanding.
that's what's so great about the
Wonderful.
original series. I mean, like you said, it was there's political allegory in it, and there's politics in it, but it's done so well that you can interpret it for many different things. Like one of my favorite episodes, Devil in the Dark with the Horda. It's obvious. Originally, it would be, as a young kid, it's an obvious, oh, there's a monster, and well, maybe it's not really a monster, but it could have just so many different types of allegories for that creature. And whatever, whichever way you want to take it, it could be related to so many different social issues, and that's the beauty of it. It's not just one thing banging you over the head where you say, oh, the hoarder is X or a hoarder is Y. As a person, I could, say it was, the fat kid growing up. I could say, well, the hoarder maybe was that, that kid was getting picked on, and eventually things are going to come out all right, or maybe that's a little bit simplistic, but you could take it many other different ways, which is why that episode, or that type of science fiction, or that type of writing, when it's not banging the person over the head with how they're feeling. So and this is a response to Stacey Abrams, who's, whatever your politics are, she's definitely a controversial political figure. She's not it's not someone from the past. I think one person mentioned, oh well, they had Abraham Lincoln was on in the Savage Curtain,
But Abraham Lincoln wasn't on.
Wasn't really him,
wasn't,
but yeah. But his image was,
yeah.
But no, you can't dismiss that, because I studied critical theory in university. It is an area of my specialization, and unpacking that further, I am a scholar of semiology, and so there's a big difference between an alien using the image of Abraham Lincoln to test humanity on its racism, and bringing in a politician proper and saying she's the president of the universe. These semiotics, these signs, symbols, and artifacts,
Big
the clock roll and the lung, what is said and what is understood, are two completely different things. And I think the reason why it gets so easily confused in today's discourses is because whataboutism is the new religion. It's the way of the cult, right?
But the message, I mean, I know it's, I agree. It's not, it's not Lincoln. It's an idealized.
No, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
But even if it was, Lincoln on that show was not political. It's so far removed from politics of the day.
It was an idealized doppelganger of Lincoln.
Yeah, but everyone reveres Lincoln. That's why it was so beautiful. They had Sarek. Was it Sarek? Sirach, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had it was supposed to be a figure that's idealized from the past, not a plucking. They weren't throwing Richard Nixon on the TV show.
No.
Wasn't a modern day person that was walking around.
Yeah, that's
because right now that she is in the political maelstrom that goes on right now. And this was not taken off the headlines or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Historical figure.
And it's also there's also this intersecting line that I find quite nefarious, pernicious, nefarious. This idea that a corporation can take a hold of this type of storytelling when it once belonged to an author, and turn it into this corporate didacticism, this political and social hegemony, taking this power and asserting this type of dominance through this messaging. Corporations are not where society and human beings should get their morals, ethics, and values. And no one should be saying, well, we need the corporations to instruct us on our ethics, our morals, and our values. I think that saying that on social media every day shows just how dangerous television is. And what's really funny is in that Gene Roddenberry interview, Gene talks about how when you start to get into that kind of stuff, TV becomes very, very dangerous. Gene Roddenberry actually called television dangerous. And so I just think that it is the ultimate betrayal to constantly be saying that he did this, he said this, he's this, he wants this is no. This is it's a lie, and it's a betrayal of his legacy. He was an extremely articulate man, and he knew exactly what he was saying. Television is dangerous. You don't want to you want to teach people about otherness. You don't want to unperson people with what you're doing. And Gene would never advocate for learning your morals, your ethics, and your values from a corporation. I think a kid in kindergarten could tell you that if they watch 3 episodes of TOS. So I think it's a huge emotional and intellectual fraud brought about by so many cognitive biases, so much logical fallacy, that I want to start passing out barf bags to people with a 3-digit IQ.
And that's the Okudas and all those defenders, and even Berman's Trek didn't do it. It did it a couple of times, but didn't do it the way they do it. When it did it, it was ham-fisted once in a while, but it didn't do it. It's more the exception than the rule, as far as getting quote unquote political. And it wasn't all the time. Even that was subtle compared to the trash they do now.
Yeah,
with an exception here and there.
And they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're giving it wink, wink, nod, nod. How great are we?
That's
and then
right.
You've got the Twitter echo chamber, and by putting Stacey Abrams on this, it's just so obvious what they're doing. It's not even not even trying to be subtle here.
No.
It's just ridiculous. I mean,
and everyone at home, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify for everyone at home, since we're moving this conversation in this direction. This is not a panel of American conservatives. This is not a panel of American far-right people. I'm Canadian, and I have voted liberal, left, very left, for 3 decades. So to make your basket of deplorables and to hide in your logical fallacies, to hide in your straw man arguments and your red herrings, your cognitive biases, that's fine. But if this video somehow gets some type of engagement, I just want to make it very clear that this isn't a bunch of conservatives patting and rubbing one another on the back. This is a very diverse conversation of people, and it should be respected as such, because we need to engage with these facts and these nuances and these truths in a sincere way.
Absolutely.
Yep. And that's what I love discussing, things with different people of all political persuasions. And all too often, I don't engage on Twitter anymore because it's you just get so hammered and attacked. You can't even bring up, a point or have a debate with a person. You're labeled an istinophobe instantly, and it's not even worth it. And it'd be great if you could have a discussion like this with someone who may be on the other side who doesn't think that way, and you put forward what you think and your evidence, and that article speaks for itself, and it'd be great to have a discussion. But unfortunately, people would just not everyone, of course, but too many people will just shut down the discussion and not want to listen or have an open good.
And it's sad. And it's sad. Mark, our good friend Dadman just walks through the Dadman clan.
Yep. Also, Pop Culture Republic. Good to see you. Who else popped in?
Pop Culture Republic's here. Good evening, my friend.
Dave. Good to see you. Just
Oh, Dave's here. I didn't even see
him. Dave.
Yeah, they popped in. Absolutely. And look, I don't care who knows where I lean politically. I lean pretty right wing and stuff like that. But I could be friends with anyone. I don't care where they lean or whatever. But you're right. This is not a right-left issue when it comes to when it comes to Star Trek. I know my counter has always been, it's not really political. You're just someone that confuses moralizing for politicizing. You're political, and you see it through a political prism. But sure, some things can be considered political. But when you dig deep down into them, it's about morals. In Star Trek, I always consider Star Trek more philosophical than political, more moral.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there's not a political thing here and there in some of it. I've seen it usually in Berman Trek for the most part, but in Roddenberry Trek, original series, and a lot of TNG. Hello there, JD Lewis. I've always thought it was more about morals and philosophy. You could definitely make a case for some of Berman Trek to have some things that are fairly political here and there, but for the most part, even they were, with an exception or two that I have criticisms with, have been fairly subtle. And compared to the new filth, they're 10 billion times more subtle. So
yeah, it's just I might let in the secret out by saying you watched the Picard season 5 episode today. We had to suffer through it.
For the record, I would never watch the filth. I won't even tweet about the filth. I will not give it the vanity metrics it thirsts for. Allow it to die of thirst. Let it die the death of a rag doll.
Let them die.
I mean, they couldn't even do anything interesting again. They go, real quickly. I was going to spend much time on it, but they go into the past, but instead of going into Khan's time, maybe where they talk where the Earth was have eugenics wars and do something interesting. Of course, they go to like a money saving 2024, and it's supposed to be this horrible.
Don't need the effects of this episode.
So it's supposed to be a horrible 2024, but they don't even have the imagination. It's like, go have, if you're gonna have, they're gonna have a relative of Khan on the end. Oh God,
seeing Brett Spiner in that episode made me sad.
Yeah, it was sad. Yeah,
good. Bless him if he needs the money. Seriously.
Well, I think he probably, if you get asked to do it, it's just
playing Dr. Sung
again.
Again. Shut up. He was now he was in 2024. It was this so silly. It's like, wait a minute. Just because his character was like that in the 23rd and 24th century, now every single one of his line was the exact same guy.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that doesn't make sense.
In the 24th century, how about maybe he could have been a ballet dancer for all we know? But no, he's the same exact. It's like, shut. You're such shitty writers. You're just garbage.
And of course they're way too high tech for 2024. But that's another.
I like how tricorders can cause an EMP now.
Yeah. So I print 3D printer, and they hack his 3D printer. And first of all, when this is the minutia, and it's a metal 3D printer, which is extremely expensive. I guess maybe you could have had one, but it's not easy to hack it and then to print something instantly or whatever. The TV, that's just a minor part. I was laughing at that point, but it's just not. There's no imagination. There's no something. Oh wow, that's just so cool. It's just all a rehash of an old story, where Picard has gone before. And I know we're killing Raquel here, but we watch it just so we can talk about it. But it was just, like you said, it was more boring than horrible this week. But,
Hungry Boy, I swear to God. This is...
So what I did after that,
I watched a bus.
So what I did after that, I watched an episode of Super Friends. So
good. Hope it helped. They stop a bus
because you had to cleanse your soul. That's why.
Yes,
you had to cleanse your soul. Shame on you.
They used an MP. I guess it's like an EMP on a bus they were trying to catch to make it lose power. And I guess the only thing I could think of is an EMP. It was, I guess, kind of what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't because it took out the engine.
With a freaking tricorder.
Well, maybe Spock could figure it out, but not Rafi.
It's magic.
Yeah,
it's like, we need the tricorder to be able to do this. Yeah, but
do everything.
And yet they can't do anything else. They can't beam anywhere half the time.
Yeah.
And they've got power for beaming, but not heaters.
And of course, that episode was incredibly political too, because then they're releasing everyone who's being deported. But what if there was actual, criminal on there that was being deported for doing something not so nice, right? And then they just let them.
We're bad guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So.
It's enough of filth.
Yeah, it was not good. Yep.
It is so bad, but that's right. Poor Jill. She's got to watch that. Jill, she's not here right now, but she's
watching it to review it.
She's got to watch that to review. I got online the other day, like another morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and she was on live reviewing it. And I'm like, oh God.
Poor Jill. We love Jill. Yeah.
Shout out to Cardinal Sin if you're still hearing that, buddy. By the way, kudos to you, sir, for this. Actually knowing who fire sign theater is with this, as I know you do with this quote? Yes, indeed. I think we're all bozos on this bus, and don't crush that dwarf. Hand me the pliers. I had both of those. Still do somewhere. Wow, someone knows who fire sign theater is. Wow, you must be old like me.
Cardinal knows his stuff. I didn't know that.
Wow, man, oh man. So it's not just being close.
So anyway, it's just important for everybody to realize that you change hearts and minds through education. And if you ever want someone to change their mind about something, you explain it in a way where they're interested about how you feel and how you think. They're interested about, the proof you provide and the way you see things. And people need to be more like that with one another. Just because somebody's a conservative or a liberal or a far left or far right doesn't mean you get to unperson them. And just because a corporation gave you permission to unperson someone doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. You need to stop taking advice from a corporation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. By the way, Pop Culture Republic, I'm just tongue in cheek referring to it as an EMP because I don't know what else you could call it. It was like that. They just focused on that bus from a long range away with their tricorder and made it lose power.
Yeah, it made like a sonic flash
So
yeah, well, not, I mean, what like how you show like a shockwave, I should say, like on a special effect,
Sounds like BS to me.
But RM, it is so true, Commander, because these people just. Look, if you want to defend the show because you like the crap, because you'll defend anything with Star Trek's name on it, I would rather that than trying to use the political angle all the time. Like, it's always political. They got all these stupid memes where they'll say, okay, Star Trek, here's the way that usually goes with these. Star Trek wasn't political, huh? And they'll show different, pictures from different episodes. And I'm like, well, obviously you didn't understand that episode if you thought that was political. And it'd be from original series episodes, it'd be from Next Generation episodes. I'm like, obviously, no. Again, as you perfectly point out, it's straw man crap. They don't, because I think these people are simpletons who don't understand it.
And why does Picard's
means?
You're 100% right. And I was just remembering some of the episode because, I'm one side of my family's French speaking. It's like, why does Picard's niece, who grew up in the south of France, speak English with the English
Patrick
accent?
Stewart does. That's why.
What the F?
And everyone should know, just because it got brought up, everyone should know that was not what Gene Roddenberry wanted.
Yep.
Gene Roddenberry wanted a dark-haired, young French guy who was like sexy and fun and powerful. He did not want Patrick Stewart in the role. And Patrick Stewart was forced on him, and they did not change the character. So when people say, "Oh, well, Roddenberry wrote a French guy with an English accent," that's not what happened at all. They did that. They pushed Patrick's Poopy Stew on him, and Poopy Stew actually had to audition multiple times, and they kept showing him this audition and saying, can't you accept him? And Roddenberry was like, no. He's an old British guy. He's bald, and he's not a French guy. He's not what I envisioned. That's not what I wrote. And you have to understand, it's not that he has anything against old bald guys, but this is somebody who was just told that Bill Shatner was too old during Phase 2, and that they needed to make the next Star Trek nice and young and fresh, so fresh you could slap it. So this is what I'm talking about BS. If you want to tell the truth, tell the whole truth. Don't tell just part of it from an angle that suits your BS arguments. Just tell the effing truth.
All right, Pleasant Valley. Have a good night, man.
Good night, Pleasant
Valley.
Yeah.
Take care. Good night.
Well, exactly.
And then
good.
The other thing that killed me on the episode too, they've got, and I'm spoiling it because no one should watch this. I don't care. Sorry.
No, we don't give a shit about
Picard's
Spoil
great niece or whatever the heck it is supposed to be like this great, astronaut that NASA sought out, and they're doing a pre-flight checklist and simulated mission, I should say. everything goes wrong, and she's practically like crying and slamming her
Yeah, you
fists.
want
And
her to be an
like,
astronaut.
what kind of test pilot or astronaut would not be able to control their emotions? And after
The kind
say,
who's on
what's
STD and PR, that's kind.
oh my god, the horror! I'm like, a pilot. If anyone's ever known a pilot or talked to a pilot or any kind of person, and
Could you imagine? Like
getting
you have a
frustrated, like they
university
would never show
education.
their.
You have a university education or a college education as an engineer. Okay. I went to university to study communications and technology. And I have a refereed SOI for a doctorate in social science. If we were tapped to be astronauts, could you imagine you and I just standing in the hallway, weeping and hugging one another and talking
Yeah.
about things like, like when I was in kindergarten, somebody took my mojo and now I'm going to kill everyone. Like, it's so absurd. These are the elite people in a military that are
Yeah.
reaching out to be examples of all of humanity, and they're trained as astronauts. They would even have to go through psychological training. Could you imagine if someone panicked and just opened up an airlock door and killed everyone?
Yeah, because they're
She's unstable.
so Q has gone back in time to convince her. So he's a psychiatrist, pretending to be a psychiatrist, and they're talking about her file, and she's got bouts of depression, and they said she's not always straight and level-headed. It's like, you wouldn't make it in the astronaut corps if you didn't pass all the psych tests. If you were borderline,
she's
it's
perfect
one thing
Starfleet material for the new crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, yes, to go. If anyone's depressed, not making fun of that. Obviously, go get help, seek help, and talk to someone, and not trying to make light of that.
But you'd be removed from active duty.
But you wouldn't be an active duty, and if you're showing doubts, so that the whole plot line is, that Q sows doubt, so she won't fly the mission that prevents everything. Because this one mission goes off, it prevents the whole totalitarian future that happens. So she's like the linchpin now, so kind of like sitting on the edge of forever. She's like the Edith Keeler of the episode. So, but it's just, she's such an unstable personality. When you're watching her, I started to laugh when I was watching. I almost should have called you, Mike, when she's reacting after the mission goes bad, and she's like,
no way she would be allowed to fly a
huffing and puffing and like throwing her helmet off.
She wouldn't be allowed to do that. And there's other preposterous stuff too. I saw a few years ago, not many, but a few years ago, maybe around, I forget what year it was, but a couple of nerds. They weren't geeks, they were nerds. A couple of nerds got together and they did a video on YouTube, and I haven't looked for it, but they were breaking down all of the dates in the timeline and how they've screwed up the timeline. And they were basically saying that Poopy Stew, like Pee Hard, he would have to be like around 123 to 126. So the first time I saw him, like with the Dragon Ball Z blast, the picture of it, I just could not believe, what am I watching? This is not like, I never watched it. Just that picture alone was enough for me to go, okay, so if we really tell the truth about all the timelines, he would actually be like whatever those guys said. They did this full presentation where he'd be like 123 to 126 years old. And here he is flying through the air like it's some sort of video arcade game. There's no way I will ever watch this. This is crap. And is Zathras isn't here, but I'm just going to do it. Crap.
Yeah, it's oh man.
Oh, I do need that crap for my
I'll record it. I'm sorry.
No, it just reminded me because I made an animated Clabboni thanks to Hungry Boy. Yeah, so I animated the Clabboni. So then if we put the crap on it, then it can go across the screen, and
then we'll be rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrific. I mean, it's not Star Trek, of course, but what do we know? We're just a bunch of bigots because we don't like a garbage TV show.
But if you want to watch it and enjoy it, God bless you. If you like it,
No, I don't agree with Mark.
If you do like it, please don't operate heavy machinery.
Yeah. Just I don't agree with Mark. I think that if you take this corporate schlock and you pull it into your heart, and you do this, whatever.
I know.
I actually feel sorry for you.
I'm just trying to be nice. I'm just being my nice guy.
Yeah, they claim
it's really horrible. Yeah.
They've claimed that several times that there's quote unquote science advisors on the show. I don't believe them. I mean, they've had them visit the set and stuff like that because I've seen them like they would show some different people from different universities. What it is probably they got a chance to go. And these scientist guys they don't know anything about Star Trek, really. They thought, oh, I get to go on the set of a Star Trek there. Yeah. And they probably showed up, shook hands, showed pictures, photo ops. And then they're never in the writer's room, I can tell you that. There's no way, unless they're sitting there just eating tea and crumpets and not doing anything, because there's no way they'd run any of this crap by anyone who knows anything about science. And Michael Okuda,
they would have to be nincompoops.
Okuda doesn't help because he probably just designs crap for him and takes his paycheck. Yeah, there's no way that they've got any science advisors sitting around because on the old shows, usually they ran things by them.
Yeah.
And say, what do you think of this? We're doing this in this script. We're doing that in this script. I mean, they consulted with them, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Even in TMP, when they were on the bridge and they were entering that anomaly, they actually halted production and said, call up Asimov. And so they phoned up Asimov and an astrophysicist. And they said, is this what would happen? Would it be like this? Is this plausible? And they were given the okay. So they went through with it. But they actually asked, right? Because they were scared. And so those checks and balances, they're gone. Even in TNG by season 6, those checks and balances are much weaker than they were before. And you're getting some techno babble and nincompoopery.
Yep.
It's not just Star Trek. You used to hear things all the time when you would read about movies or TV where they would say, whatever, you're like actors who were playing a certain role of an occupation that obviously they knew very little or nothing about. They bring consultants on. They would look at the scripts. And even if it's some kind of, obviously it's fiction, it's going to have all kind of, fantastical things in it. They go, well, would this guy act this way in this situation? Would this really happen? Would that really happen? They didn't ask one astronaut, I guarantee you, about that scene that Mark was talking about with the girl. Hey, what would happen if this girl was like this?
Yeah.
They didn't ask one astronaut because I'm no astronaut, and I can tell you she ain't going to be an astronaut.
Yeah, Pleasant Valley makes that exact point. Yeah, they've never talked, or they talked to an astronaut and they ignored it. So no one, I've met people that are in that field and they just don't react like they're the most calm. Maybe on the inside, maybe they're terrified. I don't know, but there's.
Well, don't they even check them for heart rate?
Yeah, your heart rate.
They check them for heart rate like they do with those F1 drivers or whatever. Like you have to be like extremely.
Yeah,
you have to be.
They're monitoring you the whole time.
Yeah,
you got nerves of steel.
Just watch the right stuff for some NASA documentaries. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love what Pleasant Valley Picker here said too. Also on TS, many of the writers were seasoned sci-fi authors. They knew their craft. And this is why you hear Clobby screaming all the time, those guys are from the CW. It's because that's exactly his point. These people have never written science fiction before. They don't care about research. They would rather write, I don't know, an empty car chase with lots of CGI. They don't know what they're doing.
Look, on Next Generation, I guarantee if it was the weaker episodes, some of the really episodes where we review all the time and when they have something really stupid that happened, I guarantee that happened because they weren't running things by Roddenberry and they had 15 writers that all wrote for Three's Company. And because they used to have all these different, I remember we used to watch, even on Next Year, way back when we would watch an episode when my friends and I would talk about it and we would see like 50 writers in the credits. We weren't like, we didn't have that block text that you had or anything like that. We were just going, Jesus Christ, who are all these people? Why did it take that many people to write this freaking episode? Whereas when we would watch the original series, we go, obviously you'd see Gene, Kuhn, you'd see sometimes Robert Justman, you would see DC Fontana, you would see, from a story by Jerome Bixby, you would see a couple of writers credited, and you wouldn't see 50 people credited. And I guarantee you the dumber stuff they've done on Next Generation is usually because a non-science fiction writer had something to do with it, and idiots like Ronald D. Moore and Michael Piller got away with their silly LA law crap. Which I used to bitch about Michael. Look, God rest his soul. I loved what he did on Probe, but I used to bitch about Michael Piller all the time, who said shit like in interviews, like I'm more interested in like L.A. Law, to be honest. It's like, go be on L.A. Law, then moron. This is Star Trek. I hate this. That's why Michael Binkham talks a lot about these stupid
Danny Crane,
the stupid B stories and stuff like that. That's my idiot soap opera writers and TV and not science fiction writers.
Yeah, and remember in the blog text when there were first like sourced interviews. So these aren't references; these are original source interviews of them bragging that Minosky asked Gene Roddenberry to leave. They bought him and Magel, don't care what part of the world you're from, so don't correct me, but bought them tickets for a vacation and said, go on it. And then basically when he came back, they basically made it seem as though he was no longer welcome in the writer's room. And so, when you learn stuff like that, you just recoil in horror. You just recoil in horror because this person is so talented, preternaturally gifted author and creator, and just his mind was marvel, just absolutely fabulous human being. And they bragged about buying him a ticket for a vacation and then basically saying to him, "You're done here."
There's a reason,
and he created it.
There's a reason why Gene went after science fiction writers when he gave out the Bible, the original series. Yes. And a lot of them, too, established science fiction writers. Yes, some of them worked in TV, but they were also science fiction writers. And they worked on stuff like Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and stuff. I mean, and then some good, authors of a lot of different science fiction and stuff like that. Plus, he was a great science fiction writer himself.
Yeah.
That's why
I'd work for him in a heartbeat. If he ever asked me, Clobby, I would work for him in a heartbeat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Science fiction is all I write. I write, of course, nonfiction because I'm an academic. But when it comes to fiction, science fiction is all I write. And I would have loved to have worked for him. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Oh, I would have loved it.
Columbus talks sometimes about how, because David Gerald was in on the show early on TNG.
Yeah.
And Norman Spinrad, wrote the Doomsday Machine and wrote a lot of science fiction books, called him up or said something about, I had this script because I'd read Norman Spinrad's unshot original series script. I had it somewhere. I forget the Ewoks Among Us. Or no, that was a different one. It was one. I read that one. I read another one. He wrote an unshot original series script, and he called up when they were starting to work on TNG, and he called David Gerald and said, well, I've got the script that was never, produced for the show, but you got to do something like that. And Gerald said, we're already doing something like that. And Spinner said, I'll sue you then. What do you mean? And then they didn't even do that one probably.
Right.
Or maybe they did and they rehashed his. But yeah, I mean, there's a guy, he wrote the Doomsday Machine. Maybe you call people like that when you're doing a science fiction show, a new Star Trek. It's probably why the first two seasons were so crappy. First two. I'm sorry, let me tell you something. This show is so ridiculously inconsistent. By the time we get done, I'm going to have a very low opinion of it. And I've seen them all.
See what happened by watching it in order.
Watching them all through like this again.
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
But there was a fantastic.
It was never my favorite anyway. I'm an original series.
Yeah, me too. I'm
we got a Troy episode next week to review. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, well that is taboo. You cannot do that.
I know.
We cannot even mention it. You cannot talk about it because Clobby and I like to keep our relationship 100%.
I violated
organic.
the Prime Directive. I'm going to get airlock.
That's right. That's the Prime Directive. Your agonizer, please.
But
I couldn't resist. But
the filth.
Sorry, I know.
Look, I'll sit. I admire anybody not watching that crap. I'll sit through any old crap. I mean, I can sit through it if I get to vent about it. That's all that matters. And the filth. I mean, I couldn't sit through STD or something like that, but because this is a character that once meant something to real Trek, and it's being dragged through the mud. He's dragged through the mud. I don't know. I watch it, and I have no dignity left, folks, because I can sit through any crap. And it's just. But I'm glad for anyone who's not watching it. That way, you can just hear us bitch about it and go, "What do you got?"
Yeah.
And you could look down on us for watching it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's a difference between like watching a bad one of the, or, even a bad episode of TOS, is light years or warp speed better than it's Trek. Yeah, some of these episodes just make you so angry. They're just so just so unbelievable, or just so poorly. That there's so many inconsistencies, and it's certain things you got to let go on a TV show, like the trope of character A meets character B and they fall in love in an episode, half hour. Okay, that happens all the time. But when they have sonar in space and they have characters pointing phasers at themselves and just disregarding the basic laws of Trek and crying in the hallway. That's when it just pulls you out of the series, and it's just so ridiculous. So it's
and what's worse is that this thing that Ronald D. Moore always says, this saying of gang banging a script, having taking from this idea and taking from this idea and taking from this idea. I mean, I think we went 1 week where it's like they bought a script from a 17-year-old kid. They gangbanged something they previously booted. It went through like 15 different writers. And then there's the ripping off of Oscar Wilde. And then there's the episode that feels like you're watching an episode of Wishbone, and there's no science to it at all. So, I mean, it's so bad. And these people proudly said to Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman for their book that they gave Gene his walking papers. I can't. It's just beyond me. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
idiots.
Totally unbelievable. Yep, you get rid of the creator. Yeah. That's pretty ridiculous. But on the good front coming up, we do have. I know you're mad that it's on Paramount Plus, but it'll be TMP, the director's cut, which is such a fantastic addition to the movie. Is going to be coming out on Blu-ray eventually. I'm sure 4K Blu-ray, and helping to troubleshoot Clobbering Times TV last night. I did discover your TV is a 4K TV, and we did fix it by unplugging it and plugging it back in or turning the power off.
I couldn't find the plug. I just held down the power button.
Yeah, so you turned it on and off. So you owe me 15 bars of latinum, but that's like the most basic. Tech support. You tell the person just unplug it and plug it back in.
Is it gold strip latinum though?
Yeah, well, just plain latinum. It's okay.
Oh,
yeah. My advice wasn't that valuable, but
sorry to interrupt, but I think Clobby wants us to take Oliver Belamonte's query, and Oliver Belamonte, Clobby, what does he say?
Hey, he says. By the way, yes. The answer to your question, Max, I did get it. I was just now looking at now. I just found that now that you reminded me. I do have it. If you're speaking of the Blake 7 mashup thing. Thank you. Be right there. Clobby Mark Raquel says, Oliver, I find the Thalarin radiation generator, Doomsday Machine Genesis device, and the Series 5 tactical warhead very dangerous weapons. Do you dislike these WMDs in Star Trek? Well,
Thalaron radiation. Thalaron.
Oh, Thalaron. Sorry.
It's okay, boss.
There's an extra. It's
the Genesis device wasn't really meant to be a weapon, but anyway, it could be used as one. That's not what it was meant to be. But
that's right.
And Doomsday Machine. Well, that's a great story. And so, it's not like the Federation created it or anything.
No. And it's never revealed if it is a sentient entity.
At least not in canon there. So I'm perfectly fine with all of that, I guess. Although the Thalaron radiation generator, refreshed my memory on what they used that for.
That was
Nemesis. Thalaron radiation was developed by the Romulans. And it could wipe out entire galaxies.
Well, usually, it's almost like these are all used by the bad guys. Because again, the Genesis device was going to be perverted into one by the bad guys. So, again, I have no opinion on them whatsoever other than they were good devices for good stories. Except for Nemesis, which sucks. But
I think, we're always, unfortunately, we're always going to have them. There's always going to be WMDs out there.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not, not to get a debate on nuclear weapons, but like them or not,
but
they
it's not
exist,
like the Federation
right?
was using.
Yeah.
Grifter, hello there, Grifter. It's not like the Federation was doing it, or anything like that.
Of course, McCoy picks out how dangerous the Genesis device can be in about 10 seconds, and he's got that fantastic line with Spock. We can destroy the create the universe and destroy it. In the at the same time. You green-blooded, you know. That's one of my favorite exchanges in Wrath of Khan. You know, that whole Genesis argument there. So I mean, and scientists know, you know, of course you can, you know, any kind of research. There's always potential for bad or ill too. Unfortunately, I can't even say what I'm thinking of right now because of the YouTube algorithm. But you know, you could do any kind of, you know, certain types of research. Could be, you know, could be for good, right? You know, there's good that can come out of it, but also can be twisted. So that's the thing about the Genesis plan and the Genesis device. So, you know, nuclear power is probably the most green energy there is. Of course, you know, you've got the problem with the, you know, the radioactivity, obviously, and the, you know, the, of course, but done properly, it's you know, I think
used well in stories. So
but the president of the Sierra, the founder of the Sierra Club, came out in favor of nuclear power to help. You know, I don't want to get into that debate, but I'm just saying there's, you know, good and bad in some of these devices. And I think used properly as a story construct, and of course, you know, like the Doomsday Machine, which is one of my favorites, and of course, you know, been printing those. It's on my 3D printer. It's great. You know, device and
just go to his YouTube. You can buy one.
No, you can't. No, you can't. By the way, thank you, Max. I did see it. It's hilarious. I love it, dude. You do a great voice. You sound just like Krentor. Well done on the Krentor voice.
Thank you for putting that quote in there. I botched the quote, but yeah. Mythology says the Earth was created in 6 days. Watch out. Here comes Genesis. We'll do it for you in 6 minutes.
The actual one, according to myth, not, but still.
Yeah.
Just close enough. But that's
close enough. It worked. But anyway, what was I ranting about before? Yeah, so TMP, which I love that director's cut.
Nuclear vessels. Sorry.
Vessels. Yeah, so that incredible motion picture, which I love. God, I love it. I'm loving it more and more. And as much as Wrath of Khan is fantastic, and I had that, you know, of course I met Mr. Spock, aka Leonard Nimoy, that night. I mean, but and we were talking about it, I think, offline one night. We're going through each movie, and I think it's the most Star Trek of all the movies. TMP. It's the most.
Welcome to the dark side.
Welcome to the dark side. But I've always loved the movie, and I remember watching the TV when it was broadcast on TV with the extended edition. And I remember we were at someone else's house, and we had to drive home quickly. But the movie is so damn long. I'm like, I don't think we missed much. We timed it in between a commercial, but it was just such an event when that was on TV too. But
well, if you're prepared for a planetarium experience of futurism, so you have to think futurism. You can't think of fantasy. You have to think of futurism, and you have to think of planetarium, not action movie. That is, if you're of that mind and you are cerebrally minded, you can definitely see TMP as one of the greatest movies of all time.
I love it.
And that's where I'm coming from. That's my feeling about TMP. And it's not, you know, this people. Oh, it's boring. What are you talking about? Come here.
Yeah.
Let me slap you. What do you mean? It's not boring. What's
never
wrong
bored
with
me? I mean, look, if you want to talk about similarities to Changeling and all that kind of stuff, it's true, there's some similarities. I don't mind if you want to, you know, but I just never was bored at all. I mean, okay, you know, what's great is, you know, you can do that with Star Trek, and then you could have an episode that does have a little more action. You got an episode with no action. Think about it. There's almost no action in Wrath of Khan. It's all tempo and pacing. There's even barely even a fight when the little scuffle when Kirk is fighting with the son there. Yep. There's not really any big shootouts or chase scenes, any of that stuff. And yet people just say, "Oh, it's so much exciting! It's so exciting! It's so well paced," and it is. All of those things, it's wonderful, but it's not. There's no real significant, like, there are no big fights, there are no big shootouts, there are no big chase scenes at all, and it feels action backed to some. Because, you know, again, the pacing, granted, is different from the pacing of the motion picture. But Trek can do that. And then in Trek 3, there's only like a little bit of action. There's some in there, and it's cool. We like it. It's good to see Kirk dusted up once in a while.
Yep.
Kirk, you know, Spock, you know, Trek can do all those things.
Yes, it can. It sure can, because science fiction can do all those things. And so as long as you don't betray science fiction is a beautiful genre that has such a wide spectrum of things you can do, soft and hard, that are just wonderful. And yeah, it's endless. It's an endless pool.
Oh, and Naturo's got a question for me. I don't think the one talking about printing an award. I'm not sure what that refers to, but I do have a 3D printer, so I'm printing something right now. I'm just watching it, printing a Batmobile right now. I'm watching it go through for the Pinewood Derby. Yep. So
cool. Cool. Nice.
So always printing something. So, but yeah, 3D printing tech is a lot of fun. But that's why I was laughing today with the episode, because it was, it's not so. You instantly print something. What if something was already printing? But anyway, it's just the mind.
I think on TMP, I think part of that's because it did play on a big movie screen with a big budget and a big look, whereas the original series was always on TV, and you had an episode that was all on the ship, and there was no real, not particularly action-packed episodes that are great. In this case, you're on a big screen, 2 hours, people walk in. Which is why I always said, as much as I love the motion picture, even Star Trek belongs and always will belong on television.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you could, that story could have been done in a 2-parter, of course, and like on Phase 2, which it was going to be actually, which was intended. In Thy Image was the original title.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, in a movie, you're asking people to leave their house, get in their vehicles, go to the theater, pay for a ticket, sit down, buy popcorn, all those things, and they're going to sit there for 2 hours. And especially if it's genre related, they want to feel like they've been through some big experience. You get 2 hours to wow them, and that's what Star Wars is for. That's what some other films are for. Star Trek, week to week, continuing characters that you enjoy. It's not an anthology because it has continuing characters, but there's an anthology feel to the format of the original series that I love, in the sense that unconnected stories each week, a new story, a new adventure.
I love that.
And I love the fact that there's no continuity on the original series. I don't really, and I'm a comic book geek, so I love continuity sometimes, and I have no problem people doing story arcs and that kind of stuff's fine. Babylon 5 I like a lot. It's a soap opera, a space opera. There's no question about it. It is that, and it's also science fiction, and I love it. And I like the characters, but you're living in the lives of these characters every week, and it's a long running thread, and that's perfectly fine. Blake 7 didn't do that. Blake 7 is more like Star Trek. There was some continuity of characterization, but not story. It was each different story every week. And original series was a different story every week with the same characters. And for me personally, I prefer that format. Doesn't mean I don't like Deep Space Nine. Even Deep Space Nine, though, was that until it got into some of their arcs. And even that they did well, where they might deal with an arc, and yet they would manage to tell you a pretty good story inside of that arc episode sometimes, which is not easy to do. But personally, I prefer the format of the original series the best.
Well, you already know how I feel about short stories. And, a lot of people think short stories are something that you write so that you can train yourself to write a novel. And nothing could be further from the truth. Short stories are a discipline unto themselves. And a lot of people are attracted to this idea of a quick whisper in your ear, a little flight of fancy, a little thing. And the thing about short story is that it makes massive impressions on people. And the reason being is because you don't tell them everything. You trust them enough to see what you're saying in their mind. You're writing the story on their mind. And so their mind's eye creates all of the other details that are required. And that's why it's so delightful, because there's trust betwixt the author and the reader, and a beautiful magic is created in that conversation, in that communication. And so that's why I love short story, and it's why I love TOS. Tell me a short story. Write it on my mind's eye. Let me fill in the blanks. I'm smart enough, and I want to, because I want to be passionate and love this story and dream of a whole world that would take forever to put in celluloid, but takes seconds to write on my mind's eye. We need to bring back our respect for short story.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that's enjoyable about UFO, is because each week You start, you stop, you close again the next week. It feels like you're starting. I mean, there's very little continuity also that dragging the show down. So you get a different story every week. And yes, it may be, and it's 47 minute for almost a 50-minute show. And it's filled with not wasting time. Again, I'm not knocking. I love Babylon 5, but that show, it was written like a lot of shows. He knows he's got 20 something episodes a year in the case of that show, right? So I think you get kind of lazy when you do that. When you all go, and I'm not privy to what goes on behind the scenes of these TV shows. And a lot of this is guesswork on my part. But let's say you have 22 episodes and you get together at the beginning of the season and you say, well, what are we going to do? Okay, we got this arc we want to run through the whole season. And that means we could devote 8, 9, 10 episodes to just this alone. And then about 3 or 4 to this. In other words, you don't have to write 22 stories. You really only write a few stories and you run a big long thread through them. When you do something like the format of Star Trek and let's say you had 25 episodes, whatever it was per season. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know exactly what it was. Let's say you have 25, right? You have to have 25 stories. There's a lot more meat to that, really. You have 25 stories, not connected. And that means there's a lot more work. And that's why
they did the menagerie too, right? They needed to catch up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no. That's not why they did the menagerie. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's why. Well, my point, Bolo, is I think that's why they developed this whole thing in TV, which wasn't going on for a while, and then it got caught on. I'm not exactly sure what started this trend that had writers' rooms going, hey, there's something about this story arc thing. Is probably why it's so easy to work on the soap opera. They got one story to do over the past years. Maybe we won't have to do, let's say it's a 15-episode series, whatever it is. We won't have to do 15 stories. We can write one and then chop it all up.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That's what they do.
Join us next week. Will Bobby feel fulfilled by Jenny's promise? Will Jenny make it up with her mom? Will her mom date that tall, dark, handsome fella that called her last week? Tune in next week when we find out.
Yeah, it's sad. But Buffy was a good show. I don't know if any of you ever watched Buffy. Buffy, Buffy. I think they did a great job of having an arc, but also standalone stories as well. Some great standalone episodes of Buffy in the first 3 or 4 seasons. Sure, there was an arc running through it, just like on Babylon 5, but they didn't skimp on the individual episode. I'm talking when it was in its heyday, like first 3 or 4 seasons. And Buffy basically was Spider-Man. She had the same kind of story as Spider-Man, a young kid with too many powers and too many responsibilities, and it was overwhelming her. And it was a really well-made show, well-written show at the time, and still, but that show didn't cheat as much. I mean, they had an arc that they built up to by the end of the season, but they still gave you like 20, 30, or 18, 19, 20 standalone episodes to enjoy. But then somewhere along the way, all these TV shows started doing the same thing: story arc. Let's cheat. We don't have to write that many stories, and at the end of the season, you know what we'll do? We'll blow something up and make everybody wait and give a cliffhanger and wait, and we can wait for the next season.
This way, soap opera becomes every genre.
Yeah.
And now that's all that's out there is soap opera. Reality TV, soap opera. Science fiction is now science fantasy soap opera. It's all turning into soap opera. It's a preoccupation with other people's business and interpersonal affairs and struggles. And I absolutely loathe it. I cannot stand it. And I've had so much of it. Like, I stopped watching TV decades ago. And I will only isolate shows and watch them on the streaming services. But I won't watch any of this crap. It's all Knots Landing. It's all The Young and the Restless. It's all the same crap. Strip away the set, and it's just soap opera. It's like everyone is a teenage girl who wants to just watch people fighting, arguing, struggling, and angsty. I'm angsty.
Jill's here.
Hey, Jill.
Yeah.
Again, meaningless. Jill says meaningless. Yes, exactly. It is meaningless because, small minds are concerned with the affairs of others, with the business and the intimacies of others. And people who actually want to have a meaningful life fill their life up with ideas. Ideas are important. Ideas are meaningful. gossip and being involved in somebody else's intimate struggles is ridiculous.
I think when it was at its best, Babylon 5 balanced it well, where yes, they had the personal stuff in there, but they never got away from their main story. It was a long story arc, but there were a couple of standalone episodes here and there. I love the show. I don't love it as much as some of my other shows, but I do think they did a good job on that, and they gave us great characters. That said, I wouldn't want that with every show. In other words, people always talk about how similar Babylon 5 and DS9 are and all the stuff about ripping this off and that off or whatever. Actually, DS9, if you think about it, yes, there was the Dominion story arc, but each season, even with that story arc, and when they got closer to that, has a lot of just as many standalone episodes. Until they got to the end of the crux, the whole big into the meat of the war there, right? They had plenty of episodes that, yes, they were dealing with the war, but other episodes were many other, especially building up, where many other things would happen that had nothing to do with it. They stayed away from it, whereas Babylon 5 was one long story arc where once in a while they would steer away a little bit. And I love both shows. I'm just saying, usually I'm not into the story arc stuff. I can kind of
I don't like the soap opera stuff. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy it if it's really well done. Like in a science fiction context. So like the science fiction space opera or the science fantasy space opera. I'm not completely opposed to it, but just don't call it science fiction. Don't try and tell me that that's science fiction, and don't completely collapse an entire genre and say that that's not what you're doing, because there are people that are watching this crap now, and they're calling it science fiction. People even have these big long discussions on YouTube about what constitutes science fiction. They're completely unaware that it has to be rooted in fact and reality. It's us grappling with futurism. It's, what's going to happen in the future. What if we make contact? Our relationship with technology and what that technology is going to do to us. Socially, in every capacity. And that's what science fiction does. Science fantasy, however, breaks the rules of reality. It does so immediately and on purpose and directly and purposefully, because it wants to take us somewhere else, to do something else, to escape to something else. And so that's another thing I don't like about the soap opera crap. Not only is it mostly concerned with people's interpersonal struggles and whether or not Petey and Jane are going to get together and bump uglies, but it's also this idea of it destroying people's concept of genre and the distinctions of genre. Because before, it was a bunch of intellectuals arguing about the distinctions betwixt science fiction and science fantasy. But now that is completely collapsed under the burden of this corporate ideal to create one ring to rule them all in every single thing they give us. Everything they give us has to be for every audience. Everyone has to like it. It's all got to be the same type of story. And I think people are sick of it. People are sick of the $1 billion movie. How about the art house films? How about the fact that Gene Roddenberry bragged about the fact that Star Trek had a small audience of smart people who really like watching it?
Yep. And now it has a small audience of idiots that don't, and it's not even the real Trek. They have a small audience for a different reason now.
Yes. yes.
Well, yeah, because you're just sick of all these blockbusters too. As much as hey, I'm not going to say I didn't love the Marvel movies or going to see Star Wars or some of the Star Trek movies back when they were a big deal back in the day, and Indiana Jones. There's something about that, but there's also some smaller films that get shut out now. I guess maybe the Academy Awards gives all the quote unquote the films that no one goes to see awards, but there's a lot of great little movies out there that get missed or just won't get made today because it's not a blockbuster. Like The Sure Thing is one of my all-time favorite movies, the Rob Reiner comedy, rom-com with John Cusack and Daphne Nzimande from Spaceballs, the princess. And God, I love that movie, and I watch it with my my kids.
Great, but even the modern stuff, like think about it, the way that these corporations put emphasis on stuff and make you want to have the billion-dollar IP. You can't have stories anymore. You can't enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You have to
It's all
be a part
cookie
of the
cutter
billion-dollar,
stuff,
the billion-dollar IP. You remember when I told you about Electric Dreams, and you're like, Raquel, what is Electric Dreams? And then you went and looked it up. And do you remember me whining and complaining to you? I was like, why isn't anyone talking about this Philip K. Dick series? Why aren't YouTubers talking about this? Finally, we have some real science fiction and some real science fantasy. It's well wrought. It's gorgeous to look at. It's
Was that an
absolutely
Amazon
beautiful.
Prime? I think that was Amazon Prime, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I
I'm
did watch
Canadian,
it.
so.
Yeah,
But
no, but that was But I say I love short stories, and I wish I loved Twilight Zone, Outer Limits.
No one's talking about it, and that's the thing, is because everyone has this idea that they have to glom onto, they have to be attached to, they have to be the barnacle of the billion-dollar IP, instead of going out and finding things that they truly love and enjoying themselves. Everyone wants to be a part of the digital dialogue, the social aspects of being the billion-dollar barnacle, the billion-dollar IP barnacle, and all the entire package that goes with it. The community, the ideas, the vanity metrics, the conversations, all of these things, instead of watching and reading stuff that's actually good.
Yeah. Because I miss just being able to jump into a series. Like one of my all-time favorite shows is Emergency. I used to watch that with Grandpa.
I love it too.
But in a few seconds they introduce you to the characters. They're brand new characters in most episodes, and you just get them. Or like in Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or any anthology series.
Yep.
When it's well done, you just in a few minutes you're like you know what you just understand those characters and you're right into it, and it's just so great. Or like the original old TV used to be, for the most part not episodic or not quote unquote like a soap opera with a running storyline. So Deep Space Nine, when it was out too, if you didn't remember to set your VHS tape back in the day, you missed a few, and then you're like, oh crap, I missed like 3 or 4, and what the hell is going on with the story now? And it would just, piss you off basically.
Yeah, but it's also like what it's also doing though is it's also extorting the value of nostalgia and your relationships, your emotional attachments to the characters. Whereas when you look at short story, when you're looking at these standalone episodes in television and in written word, what you're seeing is authors trying incredibly hard to get you attached, to care about the characters, and you might only have a paragraph to make that happen. And so when you're doing that, you have to bring the magic every time. You have to write and every sentence has to really count. Every sentence needs to be $1 million sentence, because it's got so much happening, and you need to keep your reader or your viewer engaged. But if you just keep throwing the member berries, if you just keep saying nostalgia, do you remember how this used to make you feel? And how about this person? What do you think is going to happen to this person? They don't have to do the work of really, really good storytelling. They poop the bed.
Yep. And Electric Dreams was Amazon Prime Video, so my memory didn't fail me there. Okay. And it was 10 episodes. Executive producer Ronald D. Moore, your favorite. Bryan Cranston was on it.
Hey,
I'm
Canadian teasing. Spidey.
Hey, Canadian Spider-Man.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, that's a Philip K. Dick is Electric Dreams though, and prolific short story author, and I absolutely love him. I just love him. He writes in the same style I write, and I just love it, and it's so great. And we need to start moving our discussions in that direction. Start moving people towards things that are really good, that they can get enjoyment out of, instead of bitching about being $1 billion IP barnacle all the time. Yeah. And and then once we tear down the vanity metrics that create this attention economy, because now the advertising is worth more than the shows, and even bad press is good. It actually pays the same, if not more. We keep feeding this beast, and if we stop feeding this beast, we might be able to reclaim pop culture and create something really good and sincere again.
That'd be nice.
So watch Electric Dreams. Yeah, watch some of the good stuff. Yep.
I'd like to have the Orville back, but it doesn't feel like that's ever going to be damn back.
That makes me sad.
Oh, I mean, it's
well, we'll get it. Now we're
going
to get this season. Yeah, we'll get it. Yeah.
But it was supposed to be March.
Might be a while. Yep. It'll be here. Yep. Yeah. But he just the waiting makes you enjoy it even that much more, right?
June 2nd. They said March. Now they're June 2nd. I mean, and what is it going to be? 12 episodes, Jill, and then done? I mean,
I think that's it for that show, unfortunately.
Well, it's been 4 years since the last season, so I mean, it's just outrageous. I know things happen beyond their control, but
I can't imagine them making another season after
Jill
that.
says the Orville is back on June 2nd. And she also says, how do we get the companies to care less about IP and more about innovations and new creations? I don't know if they want to take the risk of making something good.
No, they don't.
The thing is this. That is a terrific question. And let me answer it. The attention economy, what you're doing online, where your face is, what you're carrying around in your pocket, what you're doing with your computer, that is destined to be worth $800 to $900 billion within the next few years. And that is this 360-degree immersive experience where you are constantly imbibing advertising. And so now those vanity metrics mean a lot. And they pay just as much, if not more, because you have people who even hate watch it. And these huge corporations are getting money from that. And it used to be that, they had to entice you to sit in front of the television set. And, entertainment has always been fueled by advertising. Advertising is the vehicle for entertainment. But before, they used to have to entice us. So they had to make sure that the entertainment was quality enough that you'd sit through the commercials. Well, now we don't have that anymore. What we have is people online in social media who are fatigued by this constant rebooting, and they're hanging out, bitching, whining, moaning, and talking about all of these things they hate. And in so doing, they're actually lining the pockets of the corporations that make this filthy crap. And so we keep it going. The best thing we can do is deny any crap we don't like, the vanity metrics they require in order to keep going. So that means get rid of those hashtags. Don't make those videos. Don't talk about it. Don't share information. Don't have those impressions where the corporations and huge tech companies can sell that as, oh, look, we have an audience of this, even if it's negative or positive. Remove all of that. Remove these impression metrics and the opportunity to make money for them. And we may actually start to get some traction. We may go back to the power we have with radio and the power we have with magazines and the power we had with television, which was, yes, I'll look at your ads. I realize you need ads to pay for all this stuff and you want me to buy things, but you better make damn sure that anything that's in this magazine, anything I'm listening to on this radio, or anything I'm watching on this channel is quality stuff. And we have to pull back our power to be able to do that and not give in to the attention economy that just feels like a giant ocean of poo.
Well said, Raquel. Yeah.
Yes.
The interesting thing, I started watching UFO again, and getting all these ads on the internet, or Amazon keeps emailing me buy UFO, and on the one hand that's kind of cool, but also creepy. But it's but these, like you've said before, these corporations that make money. So, like that new movie was out, the Adam Project, with it's just a cookie cutter, supposed to be like a time travel. What is a time travel movie?
Yeah.
But it's not bad, but it's just generic cookie cutter. I don't know if anyone's seen it. I watch it on the plane going to Italy because I can't sleep on the plane. So I was, but it's, the kid, the banter, the dialogue is good. It's Ryan Reynolds. He's almost usually the same type of character, and he time travels and he sees himself in the past. And, there's some, couple of cute, things in it, and the kid's dialogue is cute, but it's just like a cookie cutter kind of. There's nothing in it that said, "Oh wow, that was a great concept in it. That was really good," or "That was really shocked me," or "That made me really think about something." So it's been a long time since Cobra Kai has been fun, but I'm trying to search my brain. Like, when was the last time I saw something that was really original and made me think, or not in a fun way, but I'm trying to.
Ezra Goldstein, hello there, a new person. I've never seen you before. Welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for your comments. It's very kind of you, sir.
Thank you for that. Continue, Mark.
Well, I'm just trying to think of maybe people in the chat. You guys got me. What's something that really was really well done, sci-fi that really was original and made you think? It's been
recently. You mean?
Like, within the last something in the last 5 years.
Black Mirror and Electric Dreams.
Okay, there we go. All right, yep. I would agree. Black Mirror.
Since I haven't seen those, I got nothing. I mean, maybe there's something I'm just not.
Love, God, and was it Love, God, and Monsters? What's that Netflix show with the short series? Love, Death, and what the heck is that called? I'll have to search it. It was a Netflix anthology series. Love, Death, and Robots. Have you seen that, Raquel, or heard of that?
No, I have not.
So
but I'm intrigued.
So it's an anthology series, usually with some type of tech, kind of like a Black Mirror-esque way. Definitely not a clone of that, but in some ways it would invoke heavy metal too. So it's all animated, and it's really, really well done. And some of those
I'm not watching it.
Death Robots rules.
But if you give it a shot.
Death plus Robots. Episodes. Is that what Cardinal Sims called? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah,
Love, Death. He wrote Death plus Robots rules.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But I would definitely recommend. Give it a shot. Some of the episodes are 6 minutes long, so
nice.
So that could be something that maybe you'd like. And I know you don't like it. It's not necessarily anime, but
the point of your question is not much has been coming out as far as
that's what I'm trying to think.
That's the point, right, Clobby?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
People in the chat help me out. Is there something really good genre stuff that?
No, people in the chat are groping around in an ugly way as well, because there's not much on offer. So point made and point taken. I mean, it all sucks, and we're all sick of it. And this is what happens, when I was complaining about this when I was taking my master's degree, many years ago now, more than 5 or 6 years ago. This whole idea that the digital verse, the internet, was going to, make innovation exponential. And I got into a lot of cerebral arguments with people in my program about how if innovation is great, but at the same time, you need to make sure that you're always inventing. So it's not enough to just completely innovate and innovate and innovate and innovate. You also have to invent. Without invention, we don't get things like Mozart. Without invention, we don't get things like radio and electricity. So while we think that we're comfortable and we've reached this point in communications technology and media and in our society writ large, that we're at a place where we can just keep innovating, we're not. We need to keep on inventing, and we have to fall in love with inventing again and demanding that people invent new stories. Stop innovating old ones. I often feel like I'm like a cow chewing cud, or like a camel chewing cud. Multiple stomachs where you just keep throwing up the same grass, chewing it and swallowing it. I mean, it's such a disrespect to human beings. It's such a huge intellectual and emotional insult that a corporation takes an author's product, takes an author's story and reboots it, reimagines it, regurgitates it, repurposes it, and just keeps, reeing it until it's read into oblivion. And they squeeze every bit of love and affection you have out of that story by turning it into corporate IP to make money. And I think that I would like to see that relationship, that process. I'd like to see that die. I'd like to see a return of people being in love with a particular author and having that relationship again, where we can restore communication and invention instead of innovation. Just my theory.
We don't get that anymore, unfortunately, for the most part, which is why it's so frustrating. And hey, it's always been to make money, but we're just getting there's no risk anymore. So the corporation's so risk averse that they won't take that shot. I mean, the Star Trek the Motion Picture, that was a big risk to make that movie and spend that much money, even though it was established TV series. But had a movie ever been made of a TV series before? I don't think so. Up to that point, maybe
it was there were a couple of shows that came from TV, from movies. But let's see here, a movie to TV. Movie. Yes, the Munsters did it, but
the Munsters, okay,
yeah, but not off.
But it was a big risk, and that's why the budget for Wrath of Khan was so far cut back, because they had to
Get Smart had the nuke bomb. Remember?
Yeah.
Around the same time as the TMP, right?
Yeah. But they had to, they wanted to make money in that second movie too. So they said, we're not spending all the money that we did on, that when we first in the theater and you saw the Klingons ships get destroyed. I mean, that sequence cost a ton of money, and God, it was beautiful. But they cut back and they got it done. And of course, the movie's a fantastic movie. It doesn't seem like they skimmed it all when you watch it, but they've got to make money. So now the problem is you've got all this blockbuster syndrome where you're not going to have little movies made or smaller movies, or they want that big, they want that $1 billion movie, and then everything else just gets shut out. And unless you've got a huge director, a big name with a passion project, it's probably not gonna get made. So that's what.
Yeah, but it's important to remember, though, that even in an academic sense, that we can say, there are 7 stories that people tell. I believe that's the figure. It's been a while since I ran through that list, but there are only 7 types of stories. But it's the way you tell the story that matters. But if you keep copying off of somebody else's paper, eventually people are going to get sick of it. So while I understand people saying, we're risk adverse. No, you're work adverse. People still have to put the work in to write a story people want to watch or that people want to read. And I think you should care enough about your audience that you don't copy off of somebody else's paper. And this is something that I bring up quite often, but I'm just going to say it again during this broadcast. There was a time all the way up until the middle 80s where we would, and society would, and critics would openly and bitterly criticize anyone who would do a sequel or a reboot. It was actually like the sign of the death of your career, because you're copying off of somebody else's paper and you weren't doing something original. Now it's like sophistry. You have these guys, they all get together on a YouTube channel or on social media, and they're talking about how this remake is better than that remake, and how the remake fits into society as an art form unto itself. What a bunch of garbage. You copied off of somebody else's paper, and you did it because a corporation said, we'll give you money. There's a guaranteed audience. Let's get it on. Let's do it. And that's what's happening. And we have to start saying no. No.
No, indeed. Yep.
No.
No to remake filth. No to the filth, of course. And Yes.
Yeah. I don't think they're making money on that show, but
On
you know,
what?
like on the new junk, or much money, or there's all kinds of deals, and we don't want to get into that in terms of funding the shows. And I've read all about that stuff, but it just amazes me that they're still making seasons of it and they're coming up with new shows. But I'll just stick to my classic stuff that I love and enjoy that. And thanks to Raquel, I've been watching UFO, and that's
UFO.
a great
You
UFO.
have to talk as though you work for Shadow. You're an engineer.
But I
work for Shadow.
I haven't been hired yet. I got my resume in for him. But,
I'm going to make you work with Paul if you keep talking like that.
UFO. Yeah. But once in a while,
do you want to work with Paul? Do you want to go to the naughty corner and work with Paul?
Uh-oh.
But so if anyone hasn't seen UFO or UFO,
yeah.
But I mean, I'm a huge Thunderbirds fan. So
yeah.
Here, let me grab.
Oh, you got some pictures? I mean, you got some.
I have this box here. I can
stop to show us. There.
Yeah, just a
show and tell time.
This is new. This is new. But here, start the camera here. Yep. So here's a cool Thunderbirds game that I've never actually had anyone to play. A co-op board game. We should do like Mary's Game. We should do like we keep threatening to do that, like the Star Trek trivia game. Or
thanks, Cardinal.
I just love the art, and if you've watched UFO, let's see what kind of ships are in here.
New direct filthy movie by Jar Jar. They keep announcing that crap. Don't believe them. Yeah. They're not gonna. No one's gonna put up the money for those turds anymore. They lost money the last couple times.
I love it when you use that word. Somebody says, "Who's Paul?" Turo says, "Turo." I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you.
Oh, that's Paul Foster.
Turo, yes, Paul Foster, played by Michael Billington. He is a colonel
on UFO.
On UFO, and Clobby loves to sort of say, "Oh, geez, seriously, Paul."
Yeah.
So it's like an inside joke.
Paul.
You need to watch the show to see. Like, you love Paul, but it's like Paul. Sometimes you're just like, dude, you got your butt kicked so much.
He did get his ass kicked.
He gets his butt kicked so much.
Cool.
Yeah. Then Jill says, yeah, they announced a new Filth movie, but they're always announcing a new Filth movie.
Keep announcing it.
But it turned out that it was news to the actors who are. Yeah, it's crap.
they never happen, right? Yeah, they announce them and they don't happen yet.
They have 4 different shows going on right now that nobody watches.
Oh, nice.
So this is cool. Yep. So I guess they have pieces that go in here. I'm not sure how the game is played.
Thunderbirds are go.
You've got like, you can't even see that, but that's.
No, you can.
Characters, I guess. Yeah. I guess they go into the.
I can hear that Thunderbirds theme right now.
Yep. So,
Paul is Worf.
What a great comment. Paul is Worf.
Mr. Woof.
Mr. Woof. Yeah. I think I got to clip that from TNG. So I just love the ships, and as a kid, that was just such a fun show to watch.
What does the board look like, Mark?
Let me grab the board here. Yep. So the board, I've never had this out of the box, actually.
Let's see, sweetheart.
How long have you had that?
Probably 10 years. I don't know.
Oh, no way, really?
It's for a while, probably.
Oh, nice. Oh, looks a little bit
Shall
like
we
Risk.
play a game?
Based on the movie. And not the show.
Looks like Risk.
Is that based on the movie or the show?
No, it's a show.
Just making sure.
No.
It's the show.
You know who directed the movie? There was a live action movie, right?
Oh, my.
Raquel?
Yeah.
Johnny Fakes directed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he directed today's episode of the newest episode of The Filth, by the way.
Ew.
Your favorite.
And
Your
got
favorite.
cards.
Good old Johnny Fakes, the Decker unit.
My kids watch that movie over and over. My young boys and daughter love that movie. God, and I had him watching the original T-Birds too, but we just put that movie on. That and Ghostbusters, I think, were like their go-tos. But yeah, this looks like a fun game. I'll have to ask Mrs. D. Do you want to play the Thunderbirds or
I'm sure
go?
she would love to play that.
She would. Do you want to watch?
We seriously have to do some kind of board game night.
Yeah, that would be fun to I mean, I have no idea what the rules are.
Then we can all play games no one else will play with us because we're together.
Yeah, with the power of the interwebs. Yeah. So I guess
God.
So yeah, I mean, just I love the imagination in that series, and of course, being the engineering, geek / nerd, just love all the vehicles and
Yes, of course,
everything that goes into it. So, and it looks so real too. So when you watch UFO,
do I get to say it to you? Engineers, they love to change things.
Love to change things.
You love to change things, yeah.
Sorry.
So that's all right, yeah. But when you get to watch that, it's just so much fun, and the effects are just so well done. Of course, and anyone who's watched Space 1999, that's a continuation of UFO, basically.
Pretty much.
Not exactly, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
it
it's a replacement for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the same effects, and that's why they're so, the puppet effects, even though they're puppets, for me, I forget that I'm watching puppets after a while, believe it or not. And the ship effects are always just so cool. Just like, wow, this is so, all the different Thunderbird vehicles.
I had a buddy of mine who hated that so much. All he could do was make fun of the puppets. He thought it was the worst thing ever. I said, "You never were a kid, were you?"
Yeah, Pox in his house.
We'd all sometimes to aggravate. We would all try to talk and move our, bob up and down and talk like we are the puppets on Thunderbirds. Yes, Thunderbirds are dope. Have you ever seen them? The other way they talk like this.
Yeah. So that's my.
I never got into Thunderbirds, but I do love UFO, and I do love Space 1999. Out of all of them, though, UFO is
the best puppet thing.
Opens up.
Well, the best puppet thing ever is Team America, of course.
Oh God!
That's hysterical.
Gotta
Terrible
go to confession.
movie.
I love that movie.
That
movie's a masterpiece.
I think it is too, but I had to turn away
so
because
much.
there was some gross stuff.
There's some gross shite in there, but I love it.
Oh my God! There's one gross. There's one scene in there that's so
gross stuff.
Yeah. I love it so much.
But seriously, like sick, like really deranged. You have to turn away.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that one scene that was in there. Yeah, that was.
Don't talk about it. I'll gag. I'll actually gag.
Well, don't even say it.
Look, just don't join the Film Actors Guild, all right?
But it was puppets, though, right?
It was a total barforama.
Yeah.
Love that movie. But
sorry for the Stephen King reference.
I got something cool too.
What?
Oh my goodness! I gotta pull it up. Oops, sorry. Give me the vamp. I got something cool this week. I think I showed it the other night though. I showed it on you. No, I didn't. Where did I show that, Mark?
Show it again. I know what you're talking about.
I'm excited, Captain. Let's do it.
Something.
I got
something mighty to throw.
JD,
guys. Yeah.
Take care, JD.
Phantom Outsider is here, and JD is leaving. JD, thank you so much for being here. Good night.
Good to see you, JD. Appreciate you being here, buddy.
Great comments tonight, by the way, JD Lewis. Thank you so much, my friend.
Oh yeah, always good to see you, bud. Let's see here. We gotta find it here. I thought I had it pulled up. I
love Jill. Look at this. Sounds like you need to show it again.
I need to.
Her.
I surely
She's my
do.
partner in crime a lot of the time. I just love Jill.
I surely do. I broke a rule. Well, more of a guideline than a rule.
Moratorium.
Oh, I know you're gonna show.
Yeah, I gotta cut it out, but I gotta stop doing this. I broke my damn rule of, well, like I said, more of a guideline than a rule.
It's just a guideline.
Yeah,
I'm enabling you.
I'm trying. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, folks. I have, and then for many years, I've had too many damn action figures with no room to put them in. Of course, and they're expensive, and I can't really afford them. So I made a rule about maybe 15 years ago. Cut it out with the action figures, idiot, because you don't have any damn room for them. So I said, yes, sir. I agree, sir. No more freaking action figures, sir. Unless there's certain characters that I can't live without. Because I'm not even kidding. I can't afford it. So that's part of it. But it wouldn't, that wasn't the big thing, I have nowhere to put them. That's the biggest take. Like, I can't display them for very long. So, but certain characters get a pass. The 20th century, I'm sorry, the 20th anniversary Marvel Legends Captain America is one of them. Because it's the best damn Cap figure I've seen pretty much ever. For as you know,
Dun, 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 dun.
This bad boy, and that's just in the package. Let's see.
Captain America. What's this? Captain America. I love that theme song. You got to sing that, Club.
Captain America throws his mighty shield. All those who chose to uphold his shield must yield. When he's led to a fight, and the duel is due, and the red and the white and the blue will come through. When Captain America throws his mighty shield. Sorry, not
there
sorry.
We go.
So there he is with next to his, with his under his creator right there, Jack Kirby, airbrushed by Claude Parrish.
Nice job, Claude.
Really?
Oh, he's an artist. He's a great airbrusher.
Claude, that's beautiful.
You didn't know that,
I
Raquel?
love Claude Parrish. He's a sweetheart of a man.
No, he's not. He's a monster.
It's not a monster.
But and of course, out the box, he badass with it behind it. They came with that little reversible background behind him, of course, with the cover of Captain America 109, with the origin of Captain America with a great Kirby cover. This figure is incredible.
I love that the ankles move. I was pretty blown away by that. I'm not Scuba Pete. Whenever I have questions about that kind of stuff, I usually ask you or Scuba Pete, or I ask Mark. But I was pretty blown away by the fact that that particular figure, you can actually move its ankles. That's crazy.
Yeah, they keep adding articulation.
A lot of articulation on these. But he can still stand. A lot of them, they do too much of that stuff and he can't stand up. Again, not too thrilled about what they did to the shield, but
Well, I think that looks awesome, right?
Yeah,
I think that does look awesome, but you'd like to be able to have another shield.
Those are holes that you have to stick those things in there on the shield. They should give you two shields if they're going to do that.
Or plugs or something that kind of
plugs, maybe.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, Clobby.
Oh, it is cool, but sometimes you don't want them to have that. Sometimes I don't want that on there.
Look at his wrist.
They give you like 6 different hands.
Because if you got action figures versus the cool thing about action figures, you can go change the pose every once in a while.
Steve Rogers' head doesn't fit either. I can't put it on there.
Canadian Spider-Man's asking me to do it, so I'm going to do it. Everybody, you ready? Scuba Pete!
Yeah! And they call him Scuba Pete. He's the king of Ramba Beat. When he plays the maraca, he goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom, boom.
Love it.
I love this figure though. And even Gary with Nerdrotic was a cool dude. We all love Gary around here. I was talking to him the day before that, but he popped on to Twitter when he saw that I put it up there. He has a rule. He and a lot of those guys, they get to those really expensive hot toys, which are great, but man, those things are just crazy. But he made a rule now. He doesn't get small figures anymore, and he saw that and goes, "Crap! I got to break my no small figure rule now."
Yeah, I wish I had a no small figure rule because I can only afford hot toys.
Yeah.
So now what you're saying is that you're like Mark and you're an enabler. Shame on you.
I'm proud of you,
Gary. Gary, I enabled you, dude. I'm sorry.
Did you just hear what Mark said? He's like, "I'm proud of you, man."
But it's damn cool.
That is a beautiful figure, yep. And mine is not shipped yet. Why is mine not shipped yet, Hasbro? Damn. Come on. I ordered it.
Did I ship you saw my one I got. And the thing is, it'd be one thing if this was an isolated incident there, but I broke it 2 weeks ago too.
Time for confession.
On my Flash Gordon figure.
Yes.
I love that. But I loved it. I couldn't help it.
Hey, a Polymese minion is here. And so's her Pupperoni, her truck dog.
Pupper.
Hey, Polymese minion. And Pupper.
Good to see you, Polyme.
Yeah, it's great to see you, sweetheart.
Oh, absolutely, isn't it? We don't have a tripwire thing this month. They didn't have an entry.
Oh.
Did we shame them into stopping?
I don't know.
I hope we did.
But since we didn't, I'll just do a little back before we get out of here, I guess. Just to recap, for every week, for those who don't know, we are keeping up with this article on Tripwire Magazine's well, it's a website. I don't guess they're really a magazine anymore that I know of anyway. And
I'm sorry to interrupt. I beg your pardon. I hate interrupting you and Mark, but Apollome's minion has great news. The lump on the pepperoni's foot is not cancer. That's great.
Yay! I knew nothing of it, but now that I know, I'm
Please
glad.
kiss her all over. Just smooch her whole beautiful little face. That's so good. I'm so happy. Anyway, sorry, boss. Sorry.
That's okay. I ain't got nothing going on. Nothing really. But anyway, we're
good news. Yep.
Yeah, we're it's the top 101 all-time greatest comic book artists of all time. But they're doing it once a week. By the time we discovered it a couple of months back, they were down to number 50 or something. And I've decided. I went on there today. I was looking at some of it over again. I'm like, oh my god! I'm going to write them and ask them. I want to talk to the admin. They don't have the guts to say who wrote this article. Each one of them. I mean, they just say admin. So it gives you a place where you can comment. So I'm going to write to them. And then I started writing to them saying, I got to go back and refamiliarize myself with this list order before I do it. I did a stream dealing with 101 down to 151, and we've been covering it. I mean, to number 51. We've been covering it every week, the new entry every week, folks, and it's really ridiculous. And now there's no entry this week, like there have been the past couple of weeks.
Interesting.
So I'm wondering, did they? Yeah, like we shamed him. I'm kidding, of course.
We shamed him. We got him.
No, I hope it's true. I hope it got back to them that all of like the big concentration of the biggest comic nerds got together and said, how dare you? That's disgusting. Shame, shame, double shame. Wagging finger right now, rubbing finger on other finger, starting fire with it. Shame, shame, double shame. I hope they got the feels.
Well, they've done 44. They're down to 44. So I don't know if they're ever going to, but they have people. I don't know. I wrote down the ones that I wrote down the list, so I'll have them all now to comment on them. And then they pulled this on me. Venom Outsider, especially the figures are 600. Well, what? Whoa. Yeah. So anyway,
some of those hot toys and 1/6 figures, they're amazing. Yeah.
So Hungry Boy, but nothing. I don't have it this week. Let's see. Could you imagine? Hey, Venom Outsider, could you imagine if you found this list at week 1? Oh, like when they finally did all of them, like seeing 91 after 9. Oh man, I wonder if they're going to even finish it.
I hope they don't, because just because you start something really shitty does not mean that you should finish it. There are some things in life you shouldn't finish. But, for what we have so far, we have the Cluboni.
But the thing is, I mean, maybe, I don't know if they're going to be able to come up with 43 more people. I mean, artists, that's starting to put up my red flare. They're like, okay, man, you guys going to put like a bunch of modern morons on there?
Yes. Well,
but
well, I want to hear the qualification for how 46 people found themselves in front of Perez.
That's right. They had Perez at 46.
Yeah.
So 45 people. They think 45 people are better than George Perez. This list, a couple other ones now that I have it written down. For example, you know who number 100 was, Hungry Boy? I don't know if I told you. You probably remember, you were here. Murphy Anderson at 100. They think 99 artists in comics history are better than Murphy Anderson. You guys are morons. I'm sorry, Triple Y. You are idiots.
Nincompoops.
Another standout. They got Maurice Severin all the way down at 81, dude. Let's see. They're going to put Trina Robbins top 20. Oh, geez. They probably will. Oh.
I was getting to that one.
Now, this past Monday night, I did a tribute show to one of the few great comic book artists alive today. That is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Just Mr. Magnificent artist, the face of DC Comics of the Bronze Age. He's at 79.
Inconceivable.
They think 78 artists are better than Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Go screw.
Hungry Boy says, Hungry Chewy, tonight is his name because he always has a different name, but he's our friend Hungry Boy. He says, barf, atrocity. But remember, Hungry Boy, you can't say barf. It sounds so much better if you say barf, because it sounds like barf. Anyway, just a joke between Hungry Boy and I.
Oh, yeah. Monkey Cheeseman said, I was at war with George Perez because he ditched San Diego Comic-Con and said it was diabetes when he was really at FetCon, I guess. I know he goes to FetCon, but well, he lives. I don't know. I can't comment on that one, dude. I have issues with Perez for some serious matters, but not that kind of stuff. But yeah, I still love his art. And they got Nick Cardy at 65. Holy, what is wrong with you idiots? Hungry Boy, they got Nick Cardy at 65. I did a show about. I streamed all this already, but I'm just going back. What was funny is they put Jim Lee all the way at like 80. Was it 83? I'm not a Jim Lee fan, but I feel they got Todd McFarlane, dude. You know where he is?
He was pretty high or
they got
low.
Todd
actually,
McFarlane at 90. I don't like him, so I'm laughing at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But normally I would think McFarlane would be on that type of list, end up in like the 20s. So I'm surprised they had him in the 90s. Yeah.
They just don't like him. I don't know what it is. He is. I don't know. They got Michael Golden at 88, though. I know that pisses you off. I know you're a Golden fan.
Yeah, but his body of work is not huge either. So
it's not huge, but some of the people they're going to be putting on there, though.
I can't wait to see who they got.
It's going to be so bad.
They got Carl Barks at 92. The guy is an icon. Holy crap.
Yeah, and look at this. I totally agree with this because Kane is right up there for me.
Yeah, I'm about to be there. Let's see. They got Brian Boland at 61. He didn't do a lot. They got Alex Toth, Hungry Boy Alex Toth at 60. They're idiots. Absolute. Alex Toth, arguably a top 20 and top 10er. But the thing is,
poops,
moron assheads. Marshall Rogers 58. Come on. But this one, almost as bad as the Gil Kane one, because I'll do that one next. John freaking Romita at 56.
That's
John
insane.
Romita, senior, idiots, tripwire, morons, and Gil Kane at 54 makes me want to punch the universe. I mean, a punch that I'm not punching an object.
Just the whole universe.
Punching the air.
Just the whole universe.
The whole universe gets to feel it.
So you're gonna instead of the thing, you're gonna be a celestial being in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
You're gonna be you feel like eternity right now, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
To bust their asses to eternity.
Well, they can't say much to us now. Now they slap each other at award ceremonies. So
Dude, they had Darwin Cook at like 52, for Christ's sake. It's idiots. But George Perez at 46 should tell you everything you need to know. And Kane at 54. It's just absolute imbeciles.
Yeah, that's a special kind of nincompoopery right there. It's got its own brand.
Yeah. Fat about cider. It's pretty good. The reason this list is delayed is one of the artists on it hasn't finished their first page yet.
That's a great one.
Wow, that's a good one there, dude. Good stuff. So yeah, I can't wait till the next. Maybe they found out. Yeah, I'm kidding. Matthew Pounder, what's up, brother?
Hey, Matthew Pounder.
I'm kidding, of course.
Hey, Matthew.
It's just fun to think that that they've heard it go. This a-hole over there on YouTube, this worthless fat geekoid's trashing us. Let's get rid of it. We're embarrassed now. He shamed us. No, I'm just kidding. And they probably don't talk like that. In fact, I know they don't because they're bitches. Matter of fact, Hungry Boy. Did you see that Gary Leach passed away? That's a shame. He was a good artist. He's probably on the list higher than some of these guys. I don't know if he should be. Good artist, though.
Good comment. I like Dave's
They
comment.
Like
he says,
so much
50 swings in a room alone while screaming, why? And then Hungry Boy says, they like stupid pie so much, they bought the bakery. Good one, Dave.
Oh, man.
Good one, Hungry Boy.
I love it. Yeah. Did they buy the Hostess Bakery that was in the comic book ads?
You know, I have to ask a question of everyone to shift it a little bit. Does anyone have a theory about what dreams are? Because I want to tell you a weird dream story. Really short here. My young nephew, I say he's young, he's 30, he's 38.
Now we're getting too old. Yeah.
Because I'm old.
Methuselah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, Gary Leach. Yeah, it was. I loved him too. He was a really good artist. Damn shame. First artist on Miracle Man. When he was Marvel Man. So my young, I went in to see. I saw him yesterday, and he was telling me about this dream he had. And you know how usually you can't really remember dreams, but sometimes you can, as you know. I guess I don't know how it works for you all. Well, he said, yeah, it was. I only know for sure is I was gone back in time, and he said I was trying to tell you something, meaning me, but you couldn't hear me. I said, what do you mean? I was trying to tell you because we're all big. Sorry for the football reference, but we all are. He said it was before 2006. I was going to tell you that in a few years, I was trying to tell you that the Saints win the Super Bowl. And back then, if you told me in 2006 the Saints, I was going to live long enough to see the Saints win a Super Bowl, I'd have said, yeah, you're nuts. I'm not going to live to the year 2090, whatever, when there's no football. Especially as bad as we were then. If you told me my team was going to win a freaking Super Bowl, I'd say you're nuts. That's what I thought until we won it in 2009, 2010, actually. And that was back when I still loved football. Anyway. But that's not the big part of it. That was just a typical dopey dream, right? Well, we're about to leave. I was seeing him, and we were cutting up, and he was telling me how weird the dream was. And then I said something like, "Yeah, well, maybe if you were back at time that may you could have told me like something like there was going to be an Iron Man movie because I wouldn't believe that either." He said, "Oh my God." Now you may remember that, and he said that was exactly what he was trying to tell me. There was going to be an Iron Man movie. And if you told most geeks in 2005 or 6 there'd be an Iron Man movie, no way. And then we go, that ain't gonna do that. And if they did, it would be crap. But they're not gonna do an Iron Man movie. And it jarred his memory because he was trying to remember before I left the place yesterday. What was it you were? I was trying to tell you. I can't remember what. And he's not kidding. He thought it was. He said he was trying to tell me there was gonna be an Iron Man movie, but I couldn't hear him. And I said, "Are you shitting me?" No, he said, and it freaked him out. It gave him chills when I told him that. Wow. I was throwing crap out of there. I was throwing shit out there. I was kidding. I was joking, and it turns out that was what he was trying to tell me in his dream.
Wow.
I know it's weird and silly.
I don't think there's any weird
Joseph and the
meaning
Amazing
to it.
Technicolor Dreamcoat time. You gotta interpret those dreams.
I just think it's just two geeks. Like you're two extreme geeks.
No, he's not a geek. He's an normie.
Well, then he's aware of your geekiness.
I raised him. I tried to raise him like my other nephew to love geek stuff. He doesn't. He watches. He'll watch my. He has not. He is an extremist about sports and in particular football and in particular the Saints. He has a gigantic Saints almost like a museum in his house. I mean, he's got a big shrine to the Saints. He has a geek characteristic of how freak out he is for the Saints and football, but he's not into any of the geek stuff that I'm into. He'll watch like the Marvel movies. That's about it. He's not into Star Trek, Star Wars, any of that stuff. None of sports.
Poor guy.
He's mostly into sports. But he's not just a nephew. He's like one of my best friends. I mean, we're that close. He and a bunch of his friends for years when I lived down there. And I go to his house for every away Saints game. And when I was living down there, he and his friends, before he was able to go to games, they all came to my place to watch games. We've been watching Saints games since he was very young together. That's what we grew up bonding on and football on. And so we're very close. We're very dear. I love him like he's my own. And also, like a friend. Even though he's not much younger than me, we're like good friends too. And his best friend's like one of my best friends that he grew up the same age. So, and yet he's not necessarily a geek except for football. So it wasn't a geek deal. And yet he likes those Marvel movies, but it's not like a big deal to him. And,
very interesting.
I believe it or not, people, I do have family members and friends that are normies. A lot of them, in fact. But yeah, in my family, I don't know about you all. And you We don't have to go with the dreams because no one. I was the first one with the geek gene in my family. Nobody else had it. I don't know about this in any of your families. I grew up in a family of complete normies, and I was the only one with the geek gene. And I passed it on to both of my kids. But before that, I was the only one. I don't know about you.
And we thank you for that. It's good that geeks. It's good when geeks procreate.
I'd be way better off if I'd been a normie.
No, see,
I passed on the nerd gene.
Well, there you go. I
was the only one in my family. I mean, my dad loved Disney, and like, you know, of course, that's nothing like that. But he always, you know, appreciated Walt Disney like as an inventor, and that side. And I think Disney was kind of growing up for them. That was their, of course, before they bought everything. That was like their, you know, Star Wars / you know, all-encompassing entertainment. You know, as a kid back in the, you know, 40s and 30s, you know, Disney was a big, well, it still is a big deal now. But yeah, my sisters weren't into that kind of stuff. Like, Mark, what, you know, why are you watching Star Trek? And I would yell at them. They, you know, sometimes you'd erase your tapes. You'd set your, like, I had my tape set to, you know, record TNG, and they would, you know, record, you know, whatever show they were watching over. Yeah. Eric, yeah. And my kids only, I tried with my sons and my daughter, but I used to buy them all the comics. I bought those, you know, Marvel Age, and you know, they did.
Why didn't you break the tabs off your VHS? When I taped Star Trek, I just busted the tabs off so that they couldn't be recorded on it.
No, because it was the ones I was using that tape that week. So, like, you know, I'm recording TNG and I go to watch it, and you know, like, there's a Smurfs episode on it or something. You know,
yeah, you got to break those. You got to break those tabs off.
Break the tabs.
Yeah, but that was that was a tape that was in the machine. So, like, for that week's episode, it was all set for you know that night. And then
then you know how you can solve that, right? You know the high test packing tape. You take a piece of high test packing tape and you cut it and you put it just over where the tabs go.
Yeah, no, I just tell them, Jackie.
It works perfectly. I've done it a million times.
Check the machine before you press record, because your brother is recording Star Trek tonight. You know, you know, that kind of stuff. Of course, you know, you laugh because you have them all for download. Yeah, so yeah, Jill say, "Oh no, they're recorded over Star Trek." Yeah, many times that happened.
What were they thinking?
You know, and I had
you see her superfluous punctuation. Look at this. She's outraged. I can hear her voice. They recorded over Star Trek.
And I had him like a notebook, and I'd write, you know, the time. You'd write, you know, what episodes were on each tape, and you know what, you know, number, you know, because you'd save money too. You'd set it to like the 8-hour SLP mode on your VHS. You can get eight episodes on the damn tape. So.
Yeah, but you had to be careful with that too, though, because then you always had tracking issues, and that totally peeved me off.
Of course, tracking on the
you guys, you youngins, we had the forehead, but we had a forehead we had a good VHS. We had a four-header, and you could actually pause it and look at the
rich guy.
Rich guy.
Those were fancy. But see, my then wife and I created two geeks, and I met her at a geek con, so she was. Maybe not like extreme like me, but it had a lot of enough geek blood for two. If you got even sort of a semi geek, you're going to make two. You have a chance of making new geeks, I guess. Whereas you, Mark, you know, you like you say, you admittedly married a normie, so you didn't make any geeks.
Yeah.
But how does that explain my mom and dad? They're as anti-geek.
They're
as
normies,
kids,
right? Yeah.
And they made the biggest idiotic geek in the universe, me or one of them. So. And a lot of my other geek friends are the same way, but I have at times once in a while, like when I run into somebody who says, "Oh yeah, my dad used to sit there and watch Doctor Who with me, or used to watch Star Trek with me, or used to read comics, and we read comics," and be like, "Really? What is that? I can't even relate to that. Your mom and dad liking cool stuff? I mean, they wouldn't even watch anything science fiction unless they were like, unless it took place on Earth or some shit. They wouldn't watch anything like. I remember on a vacation once. When Empire Strikes Back was in theaters, I loved it so much. My brothers and I talked them into bringing us to let us watch it again. And my brothers aren't geeks or anything, but they, you know, Star Wars. All kids loved it back then, and they were, we were teenagers. They hated it. They were mad at me for making them sit through it. It's the greatest movie ever made, in my opinion. And they hated it. They won't watch. They don't like anything in space or that kind of stuff. They will watch science fiction if it's grounded on Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but like a lot of people, but if it's in space, forget about with aliens and shit. You know, no. That's a normie for you. Normies don't watch Star Trek. They'll watch Star Wars.
They don't.
Some of them, actually, some do, but I mean, they're not. You're not a. You can't be a complete. You can't be a normie at all and watch Star Trek. It doesn't make you necessarily a complete nerd or a complete geek, but it means you have some enough in you to go, oh yeah. Like how many times have you ever talked to somebody who goes, oh yeah, I'm a big Star Trek fan. What it means is they like it enough. They watched it. They enjoyed it, and it was cool. But they couldn't tell you the name of an episode or anything, which is perfectly fine. I'm just saying they couldn't tell you name episodes or anything like that. If you say, how about the one where he fought the big green guy? Oh yeah, I remember that. The lizard guy. Yeah, I remember that one. But they don't. It's not their bag. But they did like it enough because everything, whether it's sports, whether it's any kind of entertainment that we love, if nobody watches it, then it's not going to get made for very long, as you know.
Sure,
so there's still plenty of people that would watch it and go, oh yeah, I used to watch Star Trek.
Star Trek, yep.
Oh, I used to like Star Trek. Oh, that was cool with Cat.
Nothing provokes me to want to shin kick somebody more than when they say Star Trek.
You didn't like Star Trek with Dr. Spock?
But of course, that's what Roddenberry was kind of saying in his article, though, right? You had to have, had to have a bunch of people that wanted to watch it, right? So
that's right.
That's true. Which is again fine if people say I really liked it, but. It's like the scene in Free Enterprise. I don't know if you've ever seen all that yet, where the chick is giving him trouble, and the chickie just the unbelievably hot redhead that he just, that's the morning after she says, "You and all this make believe stuff, and you watch that Star Trek with that Dr. Spock guy." And he said, "It's Mr. Spock, Layla. The doctor was the baby expert. All right."
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
I love that movie. You got to watch.
Finally got to watch
Raquel to watch that movie.
Yep, we will. And I found the Humanist interview, so I'm gonna put that in the chat.
Who's watched Free Enterprise? Who's watched Free Enterprise out there? Any of you seen it?
Paco has.
Taco's seen it. See,
Paco heard you.
Yeah.
But are you familiar with it though, Raquel? Right? Sorry. She's handling the doggy.
Oh yeah, I was sitting in the puppet. Yep.
So you got to see it, or?
Yeah, no, I didn't finish watching it because when I downloaded to watch it on the airplane, I only downloaded 45 minutes of it. So I was watching it, and then it stopped at 45 minutes. I was like, Arr. It's like, but it was just rolling. It was like so fun, and all the quotes on there were just so hysterical too. So and he's breaking up with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend's like, "Why are you always watching? Wasting your time watching this?" And then she mentions the name of the episode. She said, "Requiem for the Martians," and I'm saying, "But it's Requiem for Methuselah." And I'm like rolling my eyes, and I'm just waiting for him to correct. He's going to correct his girlfriend, and it's going to be over. He's like, "By the way, the name of the episode."
He couldn't stop himself. He said,
and it aired on September 7th, 1960.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, whatever Valentine's. Yeah.
Does anyone bought the DVD but haven't watched it? Free Enterprise. Well, I want. Ezra. Well, I won't spoiler it for you, but I'll tell you this: it was, of course, written by Robert Meyer Burnett and Mark Altman. Robert Meyer Burnett directed it. Mark Altman, helped him make it. And it takes place in 1998. It stars William Shatner as himself. It's kind of a funny. Dad, man, have a good one. Good to see you.
Good night, Dad, man.
Take care. It is kind of a funny romantic comedy, but it is written by and for geeks, and it is written. They talk just like us. Rayford Weigel and Eric McCormick are in it. Shatner plays himself. It's just a fun romp. And again, I have the second DVD I got of it had a special, because there were two of them for some reason. I got a later one. There's a special feature on the second one where you could watch it with a pop-up menu that every time they make a geek reference, it explains it. And the sad thing is I don't need it.
Is that on the second disc, or is that on a?
I'm not sure. I'll have to go check,
because the disc that I have, I actually still get Netflix, the Netflix version of the DVDs to get these obscure movies.
Is that what you got? I'm not sure which disc it was on. I mean, it was on the second set I got. I got two of them, I got the old one, then I got the second one they did many years later. I need to go watch that again. And we should watch it over and over again. It's so
I don't think it had that on there as a special feature. Yeah.
They talk just like us.
Yeah.
Good night, Dad, man.
All right, Max. Take it easy, buddy. Thank you so much.
Good night, Max.
Take care, Max. Awesome job.
I'll let you know.
Fun time in the chat. I wonder if you can still buy that DVD. Can you still buy it? I wonder.
I don't know.
Is R&B selling it, or I don't think he.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. But he got in trouble with. He kind of got in trouble with the next gen people. There's a line in there with the spoiler alert. Well, it's not. It's just a line. They're having an argument back and forth about him with his new girlfriend, and she says something like, "It's just like you." And it's not. It's the one that's cool. She's actually a geek too, but she's trying to teach him responsibility. He said, "It's like you live in the." He said, "You don't live in the 24th century," or something like that. He said, "I would never live in the 24th century. Only original series, only classic. I fucking hate the next generation."
Yeah,
he says, "I have to hate the next generation." We said a couple of weeks, or not too long after that the movie came out, he went to some kind, because he did all the. Robert Burnett did all those documentaries for all the next generation.
Yeah,
Blu-rays and stuff.
He did an amazing job on that.
Well, he met Rick Berman and all those guys at some kind of get-together function. They saw the movie. I think they were at the premiere for that movie, in fact. And he was like, he was embarrassed by that line. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, it's just a joke. Come on.
Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah, it was
lighten up, Francis.
A Pleasant Valley Picker is also leaving.
All right, Picker.
He says, "Well, I'm gonna bail too. Gotta eat and get to sleep in a while. Night, folks. Pleasant Valley Picker. Nice to see you. Good night."
They get late early. That's the way it goes. So,
Indeed, that's where you might enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Free Enterprise.
Free Enterprise is awesome, and I'm really looking forward to TMP. We should figure out do a watch party, just us three, maybe, or I don't know with anyone else. But
which one?
When that comes out, TMP, the director's cut.
Paramount Plus.
I do have Paramount Plus.
I don't.
Yeah, well, there's
ways I will not be getting Paramount Plus.
You can't get it in Canadians, right?
Really?
Well, no, I'm not sure. I had a discussion with Andrew about it, and it's going to be a solid no for me. I feel like it's a giant poop train, and it's just them trying to make the filth successful. And so for me, I'm 100% just going to be physical media on a go forward basis. Once they yank it from the streaming and they put it on Paramount Plus, I will not buy Paramount Plus because
it's off streaming now.
Yeah. Oh, well, you guys in the States, but not for us, not yet. But when that happens, I will not be giving them money for their filth.
There's a lot of classic series on there too, but we don't get into that now. But there's Twilight Zone and the old Magnum PI, and some great CBS shows that are on there.
How much is it a month anyway? I don't even
remember. It's like $5 a month. Yeah,
that's not bad.
But then you also pay for filth.
No,
you have filth and you see it every time. I can't.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
I know.
I have to do physical media. There cannot.
Well, no, I want to get that in 4K, but I think it would be fun to.
The only reason I was asking
to watch with you guys for the first time to see it together.
Right, but the only reason I asked that is TNG is left as of right now. In fact, it's left
off on Netflix
right this second. Netflix.
It's gone.
DS9's still on there. We don't know how long that's going to last, but TNG is off, and we review it. So.
Oh no! I mean, I actually have to walk up and
April 5th.
Put DVDs into.
No, I don't have the DVDs of that. I don't have the DVDs of that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I don't have the DVDs of it either. I never thought it was good enough. I mean, I have everything from TOS.
Yeah,
but I don't have a TNG or any of that stuff. Like, I was skeptical about whether or not I even liked it when it came out. Like, it's no TOS. TOS.
And they're expensive too, though.
They're extremely expensive.
Especially those Blu-rays. It's a nice Blu-ray set.
Yeah.
But it's up there. And so was DS9. I don't have that. I don't have DS9 or Voyager either. It's just I was never big into those. I mean, I like them now a little bit, but,
I love Enterprise. I would gladly buy the Blu-rays of Enterprise. That's good stuff. But the thing is I'm going to have to switch to the physical media no matter how cumbersome it is, because I will not pay for filth. They are making a big mistake by doing this. I don't want to pay for filth. I will not reward them for the filth. They can keep the filth.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not blame you. There is.
Well, TNG is still on. Maybe it's depending on the time zone, but I guess it says
it's past
it
midnight on mine. It's now April 1st where I am.
Yeah, I still got.
It said it was going on for April 1st. Maybe that's an April Fool's joke.
I queued up. Birthright is on right now, but yeah, it's probably the last chance. Yeah, so, but yeah, well, they want everything on Paramount Plus, so I try to get people to watch there on their service. So, but there is a ton of great old shows on that Paramount Plus. But
the only trick I have is right here.
Yeah, you have a great collection.
The Roddenberry Vault. Roddenberry Vault
but
is highly recommended too. If anyone has,
I have the Roddenberry Vault.
You do.
That's awesome. Yep.
I don't have the 50 though. I wish I had the 50.
I waited 4 years for that.
Yeah, but the 50 is so expensive in Canada that no normal human being could ever afford it. But it's absolutely gorgeous. And when you opened it up, I had the biggest nerdgasm I've ever had. It was just absolutely so wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful. I have that same animated series.
And the sad thing is I can tell that's Star Trek 1, the director's cut, in the orange on the left there next to the animated series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a Star Trek geek. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, like if you showed this picture to like 100 people and said, point out which one is Star Trek 1? It's Star Trek the motion picture,
that's
right?
kind of easy, but yeah.
Well, that's what's on the left. I know, but it's on the left. Or maybe if you put it in the middle, you shift them around, put them in the middle.
Yeah.
But
I do love the Enterprise cartridges, though.
And don't forget the Tribble, which is safely stored away so it doesn't multiply.
See, that's right.
Well, they know Tribble at all.
That's a good TAS, Joe. That's the one with all the cards, the art cards. I have
that one too. Yep.
Yeah, I love the art cards. They're gorge. I looked at them and then I just quietly said, "Don't ever open this container ever again. We'll stream it." So no one ever opened the container ever again.
I don't have the 50. I don't have the 50, and I don't have Enterprise. But everything else,
I don't.
I've got
I don't have Enterprise, and I definitely don't have the Enterprise in the cartridges. That's a pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a nice. That's
a nice touch. But I don't have the 50, and I don't have the cartridges. I need both. I do have the Tribble though.
And I do have the NX-01 there. Actually, do I have that on my shelf?
You have the NX-01?
Oh yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 of those. Or I've got 2. I've got the battle damage one. I got the regular big one, and I've got that small. That was that Peter Pan. No, not Peter. What's it called? What's the series that made all those ships? Johnny Lightning. Is that the Johnny Lightning?
Yeah, Johnny Lightning one. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Cool ships. Yep. No, it's awesome stuff. Yep.
The Pop Culture Republic. Pop. If you can get the 50 where you live, by God, man.
I mean,
I'm sorry I sound like Bones, but by God, man, you need to go and get that 50 because I can't get here. It's just way too expensive. It's out of my price range. I can't do that, especially as a Canadian, but it is so sexy. I think Clobby actually has a video where he kind of unboxed it, or we talked about it and he showed some stuff from it. Anyways, it's
$235.
What?
It's beautiful.
It fell down to $80. That's when I finally got it back about
$235 right now.
2 years ago. What?
Pop,
well,
get
it must
it.
be a third-party
get
seller,
it.
but yeah.
You're kidding.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You need to see. You need to see the guts in that one because wow, it's.
I had them. I had pictures somewhere. I don't know what I did with them.
Yeah, I remember when you posted them. That was a long time ago. You've had that box for 2 years now or more.
Yeah, I guess so. I will definitely find the.
It hits $77 right after Christmas, but most of the time it cycles up to. It's been, I guess, because it's out of stock or wow, it was $100, but right after Christmas it went down to $77 at one point,
but not on my side of the border.
No,
I wish.
on your side, yeah.
And Clobby tried too. Clobby even went to like some vendor that he knows, and he like sent me the link directly. And the vendor said, "I'm sorry, I can't ship to Canada."
Well, did they go back up? Did they go back up? What vendor?
Yeah, they're back. Yeah, they're back up. And remember when you tried to get me after you bought your $50, you found me that vendor, and I went to that vendor, and they said, "Oh, we're sorry, we don't ship to Canada." But I would have bought it right then and there from that vendor. But that, I know a lot of Americans don't like shipping to Canada, but it's just so that is such a hot thing to have. Like, for me, that's so essential.
See, because I had everything on that set, so then I'm like, do I want to buy it again? Buy it again, because I bought the original series on regular DVD, then I bought it on Blu-ray. It does have some really cool stuff in it, and it's got, I've got the animated, and but of course it's got that cool swag in it, and the box is gorgeous. The inside of the box is beautiful.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I can't justify buying that again. But maybe
that one's got the cards too, though, like the TAS,
cool.
Yeah, the cards are gorgeous.
But plus, I already bought all the movies before too, so it's like I'm gonna buy them, Yeah. And then the one thing it was missing too, it didn't have, the directors. If they had the director's cut of the motion picture on 4K, then I might have said, all right, buying that.
Yeah.
So
I just want the 50 because I want the $50. Like,
yeah,
I can't believe that you're not crushing on this, because
I love it. It's gorgeous, but for $200, it was,
it's a lot of money. And have you seen how much the TNG costs on my side of the border?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's I think it's what's it at now? $378, not including import. Let's go see. Amazon.
Take a look.
That's $150 on Blu-ray in the States.
TNG Blu-ray.
That's nutty, huh?
I mean, it is actually a good deal for considering 7 seasons of a TV show. 7 times, to 150. So it's not that bad, all things considered.
Yeah.
And they remastered, and they did a beautiful job. That the whole thing has been upgraded and updated and color fixed, and so I think they did a fantastic job.
305.
Yep.
305.16 is what it's on sale for right now.
What, the 50th?
No, the Star Trek TNG.
Holy shit.
Hey, Tim Stock.
Tim Stock.
Hey there, Tim. How's it going?
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, it's like they smoke crystal meth or something. This is why, this is the problem with being Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Like Pleasant Valley Picker and lots of other Canadians have come forward to say, yeah, you guys, these people who are saying this stuff, Raquel's telling you the truth. It's not easy to get up here.
It's just insanity, huh?
So much money. Yeah, it's $305.16. And used, somebody wants $283.71 for it used. That's not going to happen. And it's not saying how much the import fees would be, but I obviously at $305.16, it's going to be considerable. The DVD, the Suckorama that is the DVD, is on offer from $290.45.
Wow.
I will never pay that.
No, it's
I
insane.
would rather buy 700 versions of TOS. Never gonna buy that.
I never thought I'd get a hold of it, and then I waited like 4 years for it to go down, because and it was like $200 in 2016 or something like that at the store.
Let me see if I can get the 50. Hold on. Let me go see if I can get the 50
I was talking about 50.
Okay, I'm getting it right now. I'm gonna get the price.
You're buying it right now. Just kidding.
No. You kidding? You can't afford that.
Yeah.
I wonder what Fleabay has it for, but it can't be that cheap either.
Oh, it's $340.66
for the 50. Holy crap!
And
Clobberin Time's like, maybe I'll sell it. I'm just kidding.
and it's not new.
I know, Joe.
It's used. So it's used and it's in very good condition, but it's $340.66. And that's used.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Here's kind of a layout of it right here. Some of the pictures.
Yeah, look at the cards.
Those are the movie cards.
Yeah, those are gorge. And didn't you also get a little statuette with that?
No, you got.
Or was it a hologram thing?
You got a little magnetic pin of the Delta shield.
Ah, yeah.
And they got like that little thing that goes around the box. That plastic thing is kind of like it looks like.
Yeah.
The holographic one. Yeah, sort of, but.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. It's so beautiful.
I was shocked.
I'm dying.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't show it.
No, I love it. It's because it's sexy times. Like, that's nerdgasm right there. That's sexy times with Star Trek right there. Is your 50.
And that's the
yeah, I love it. So beautiful.
Oh man.
So beautiful.
Well, here's one quick thing I can show. This is going to be my next enabling video, I think. Let me switch my screens around here. So let me share this. Hold on. Let me get my screen ready here.
Oops.
Let me grab this. I'm just going to get trying to get something so it's not on my showing my account here. Let's see here.
Ezra Goldstein. It sucks living in Canada. Yes, it does.
I'm sorry.
When it comes to accessing American entertainment, yes, especially American entertainment that's really good, that you love. It costs a lot of money. That's why I hang around with my spoiled American friends and live vicariously through them.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
So I was checking my models today. I came across this cool video today, and I was just checking. And of course, the funny thing is, I have a model of Patrick Stewart, and I picked it up. I said, "Oh, Poopy Stew!" Like in my brain, I'm calling it Poopy Stew.
Sorry about that.
When I picked up the package, so I have him. So if you want to add that to the stream, Clobbering Times,
I can add it.
Yeah, there we go. So back in the day, of course, one of my favorite things was this Enterprise bridge set. So they just came back. Yes. It's back out now again. It's about $35. Yeah. And it's just...
What's the scale?
It's 1/32. So it's
model kits. Is Scuba Pete still here? Scuba! Look at this.
Yeah. So this, I'm trying to find the, let's see if we got pictures of the kit. Let's see. There's got to be better pictures here. Let's see. No, I don't want to subscribe right now. But this was like one of the classic kits to build as a kid.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good picture of it. Yep. So HPI guys, yeah, they did a beautiful job of showing this build on this. Currently out of stock, but actually, let me show that. I'm just going to go to the end of that video. So let me find that YouTube video. But I still have Mr. Spock left from this video. So, which is like the from this set. Like the only thing I have left is like a couple of things left from that. Let's see, Enterprise bridge. I was watching this video today, but it's just one of those cool things as a kid that you remember building. And there we go. Here's the kit. Let me put this over here. We don't want to show. We're going to give them their credit for their video, so I'm just going to go to the very end here, but I won't just play a couple seconds, but go check. I'll put the link in. Go watch this video how they built this. So I think this is gonna be one of my next projects. But here, I'll just let it spin around so you can see the front there. Let's see how cool, what a beautiful job they did. So you got the whole bridge here. It's just
nice.
It's just gorgeous. So the guy did a beautiful job, and he goes through every step. Beautiful. And just wait until he moves his finger out there. Yep. So, he's painted all the characters. These are all decals on there, and it's just one of those super fun kits to build as a kid. Of course, I built it probably not that well. Let me grab my Spock. Hold on.
What you doing?
So I'm just gonna put. I grab. This is the only thing I have left from that kit. It's, I have Mr. Spock left from the 70s.
Wow.
Priorities,
It's
man.
great.
Priorities. At
Yeah,
least
and I
we
never
saved
painted
the
them.
right guy.
I glued them, but I have Spock.
You glued him.
So I left a comment there, like on the video, like I only have Spock left. So I got to buy that kit again. It's like $35. You just Google it, or it's on Amazon, or from some model shops. But that's one of the all-time great kits. So it's and they now what's cool too. They have it wraps all the way around. The original kit only had 3/4 of the bridge. It didn't have the whole the whole bridge, so all the consoles. So it's I'll have to do. That'll be my next enabling video, I think. So check that out and spend some money on that on classic old Trek.
Yep, real Trek, boys and girls.
Yep.
Paid $130 for the TNG Blu-rays. Says Andy Derivative Jill. Yeah, Jill. They're good. I hear they're good quality. Well, obviously the ones that are on Netflix are from those new copies and stuff, which are pretty cool and everything. But yeah, it's 7 seasons. I'm not saying that's outrageous. I'm just saying, still
it's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money, and it's like, man, if it were something you just can't live, I don't know. It's almost cheaper if I just subscribe to what and get it. But I don't know.
Crap.
But I was gonna say, Jill, too, I hope your Blu-rays. I was just looking that up on Amazon. A lot of people are complaining about the quality of the discs in terms of breaking and the packaging, and like a set like that too. It's as bad. Like if you don't watch the whole series, and then all of a sudden, disc 7 and season 6 is bad. It's 4 years later.
That's happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, you can't.
Well, on my 50th has a couple of glitches on it. Not bad, but
not bad.
I skip on one, pisses me off. What are you gonna,
Yeah, at that point, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're stuck. Yeah.
Most of it's great though. But it's just that it's gonna happen.
But
it might have been my Blu-ray. How do I know it wasn't my Blu-ray doing that? Being crappy.
Well, most of the time it's the disc, though. Usually it turns out to be the disc. Yeah. So, but we've got ways to beam the Enterprise into our houses. Fortunately, so
yeah,
we have engineers.
We do. We have powerful engineers, the best engineers.
So the show will go on. Yep. Even though you're taking a hiatus this week. Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
So
are you going to see Klingon opera? Is it Mylota? What's
No.
It's not Klingon.
Yep, that's what it is.
I will be seeing a
Could you imagine if your husband, if you surprised him and said, "We're going to see Klingon opera"?
Wait, everyone, before they continue. For those who weren't here at the outset of the show, since we're going to start wrapping up in a second, what they're talking about is there will be Saturday Night Star Trek this week, but our wonderful first officer is going on an away mission, so will not be with us. So we're no reviewing episodes this week, so you'll know you don't have to review them. But I will be doing some Star Trek, and we'll be talking Trek, and I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do yet, but we'll be hanging out talking Star Trek, same Trek time, same Trek channel. And who knows what we'll do? We'll do something. But we went 63 weeks, 63 weeks straight, which is pretty. I think it's pretty amazing. Because
what was DiMaggio's streak? How many games did he? What was someone in the chat?
That many. Yeah. And
I don't want to let anyone. I don't want to let anyone down.
Don't you even say that.
I love you all very much, and I would never ever let Clobby down, and I would continue to do 100, 200 weeks without a day off. But folks, I have not been out of my house, because of the vid. Like they kept on canceling the opera, or they would cancel. I have front row seats to the opera, and they canceled the opera of my seats because it was too close to the singers.
Close to the spray.
Yeah, so they canceled my seats, and I was so heartbroken. And then the other ballets they have canceled because the dancers didn't want to endanger themselves. So I really want to leave my house. I don't have to, I just
what a life,
I want to leave my house. So I love you all. and I love that my captain is allowing me to go on on this away mission, and
Wow,
he is being so gracious about it. But I will be back. I promise.
Yep. So Saturday night we're gonna all sit around and talk bad about Raquel for 4 hours. How about that?
Oh my God,
and you should.
She
missed the Saturday. Yep.
It's so you're so silly.
Your agonizer, please.
Yes. Oh, well,
but everyone else better show up then, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone else, please make sure that you show up.
No one's going to show up without you being there, but we still have to tell them because I don't want them to show up and go, "Where's Raquel? We're leaving now."
No.
Yeah, right.
I think they love you, Captain. They love you.
Look,
and
if they're anything like me, they're here just to hear you. So.
Oh no, Captain! I love you so much.
Don't be ridiculous. But we will do something. We will have fun,
and it will not be disgusting. I was considering making a joke, but it would have been too funny.
Yes, we're going to review the filth, everyone.
Don't do it! Don't defile our show. Do
but
not sully the purity of the 735.
I was thinking of doing an April Fool's joke but I thought that would have killed you, Raquel. Doing a whole a screenshot, a fake thing, and we should do that anyway. Clobbering, since Raquel is not here, the show is going to be covering Discovery this week. That would have pissed off too many people, though. That would have been. But that would have been a good April Fool's joke, though, right?
Yeah, but I would require a cardiologist. You'd put me in the emergency room. You can't do it to me.
It would have been. We should have done that. That actually, now we've put the cat out of the bag, so we can't do it now.
Oh no, Ezra Goldstein is leaving. Are you leaving?
Ezra, have a great night. Thank you.
You're fantastic, Ezra. You were fantastic as well.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Ezra, for being here. Well, we see you here again.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Most welcome here on any of Clobby's shows. This is a wonderful channel that has a bevy of beautiful shows that you'll really enjoy. Ezra Goldstein, as well as Mark D with the C's channel. He has cool stuff there too.
Thank you. Yep.
Indeed.
No, he's not. No, he's not leaving. He's staying. Yep.
Okay. Good.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Jill, I wasn't really sure till we weren't really sure till tonight, so we announced it as soon as we could. I'm glad. I would have told you. Believe me, I couldn't say anything till I talked to Raquel before we did the show tonight. Otherwise, I would have told you. I would have told everybody sooner. I'm going to make announcements. I'm going to put it all over YouTube. So yeah. Well, I just want so.
And I want everyone to know that I let you know as soon as possible. This has actually gone on behind the scenes twice now already. Believe it or not, I believe the opera contacted me 2 days before the opera to tell me that they had canceled my tickets. No one was allowed to sit in my seats, my front row seats. Wow. So I didn't know. And as soon as I became aware that it would indeed be going through a miracle of miracles, I let Clobby know immediately. But it's really touch and go. And it is quite unfortunate that they let you know so late in the day. It would be nice if they gave you much more notice. But, that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But I will tell you, Jill, I'm very excited to be leaving the house.
Oh God, yeah. You're a social animal.
Out.
You gotta do stuff.
Yeah.
Finally get to leave and do stuff. I'm so happy.
Of course, when the show started, didn't the show start during the vid? I think.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
I think
so yeah, we're all locked down and stuck at home, so it's only natural to finally make it out. I finally traveled a few weeks ago, went to Italy, so hopefully things will, knock on wood, things will get better and we can get our lives back to more normal. And not that I want to miss a lot of Saturday nights, but it's now that things are more open, hopefully we'll miss a few of them, right? Not trying to say it the right way, but you know what I mean, that sentiment of getting out into the world. So because for only so long I can tell the missus we can only go out on Friday nights now. We can no longer go out on Saturday night unless we're home by 10 o'clock. How's that going to fly?
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you
Well,
rushing home, Mark?
100%, I would have booked all of the opera tickets and the ballet tickets. I'm a season ticket holder for the Alberta Ballet, but I definitely would have booked them all for Friday. But the thing is that I was like I didn't think they were going to go through, and I just wanted to make sure that I supported my local opera and my local ballet. I seriously didn't think they were going to go through. They just kept on canceling them. So it's nearly 2 years of canceled shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I'm like Groucho when it comes to the opera. When Night at the Opera, when he goes, how much longer is the opera? When he pulls his horse and carriage up, oh, there's 10 more minutes. Says, hey, I told you to slow that nag down on account of you. I almost like the opera. Once more around the park and take it slow this time. I love that movie.
Oh, Pop's gotta leave.
Oh.
Pop Culture Republic.
Be good, Pop Culture
Take care,
Republic.
PCR.
Yep.
But sure, Clobby, if you reviewed the filth on Saturday night, it would be the quickest demonetized. Yeah.
Dude, all the swearing.
Could you imagine if you made like a joke intro with like, now on Saturday Night Star Trek? It would have been April
1000 Club. Yep.
And then you hit him at the end with April Fool. You have to do the April Fools.
Like April Fools joke, dude.
Yeah, don't say this stuff on air. You need to discuss it in private.
I wouldn't.
We could never do that. We wouldn't have done that. But I was thinking of it.
Fun.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that to everybody. First of all, they wouldn't believe it anyway. They gotta have some. You can't stretch. You could only stretch credulity so far. Everyone would go, yeah, sure. And then everyone would know it's the April 1st.
Yeah.
It's April 1st. Yeah, the 1000 Club. I knew someone was going to say that. So everyone would go, oh, sure. Clobby is going to start reviewing the filth. And he's announcing this on April 1st. I'm supposed to take that seriously.
Yeah.
This is how you would know that I was kidnapped and I was sending out a message from my cell phone that I've been kidnapped and I was being held hostage.
The UFOs got you.
Yeah, the UFOs got me. That's exactly. And that would be my message. Watch the filth. People would be like, oh my God, Raquel's being held hostage somewhere.
Yes. Oh my. It's going to be fun. I'm so glad for you. I hope you have a wonderful time.
Thank you, boss.
Because one thing I've always said about the opera is better you than me.
Well, this will be the ballet, and it is a wonderful. This one is a wonderful ballet. It is called Fee, and it is all of the works of David Bowie. So it's a modern ballet. And our wonderful director, our ballet director, Alberta ballet director, Jean, he has done all of the choreography. And of course, he's done this for other famous artists as well. Katie Lang, Joni Mitchell. He is quite something. He is a very remarkable man who is incredibly talented. And I am super excited. I'm not a huge David Bowie fan. But I am a huge fan of Jean. He's very kind to me and my family, and I love all of his choreography. So I am excited to see his masterwork here. I'm certain it will be a masterstroke.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird, Jill, by the way. So Jill said, she says, YouTube keeps taking her likes off of my... Wow. I mean, off of this video. It's the third time she said to like it. That's strange.
Oh, yeah. Ghost in the machine.
I know YouTube doesn't like me, but wow.
Yep. They're messing with our numbers all the time.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's crazy, Jill. I don't know. That is weird, wild stuff for sure.
Yeah, Hungry Boy, I wish you were going with us. You would love it. I'm not a big David Bowie fan, as I said, but the choreography is going to be world class. The dancing is going to be world class. And from what I hear, Jean has written this choreography and this whole story around this ballet, around how technology. This is, of course, something that David Bowie was also fascinated by and with. This idea of what role technology plays in the breakdown of our communications and in our wellness and our well-being and in our society. So I think it's going to be quite dystopian. And of course, as you know, Hungry Boy, this is a Comtech, which is one of the disciplines that I've studied in university. So I'm very excited by the idea of seeing this thing that I think is going to look something like steampunk, but have this crazy David Bowie music that I kind of find a little scary. I kind of find David Bowie a little scary. But I am looking forward to how the Alberta Ballet will do that, because our company is absolutely sensational. I've seen many ballets companies from around the world, including Moscow Ballet, Alberta Ballet. It is definitely just as good, if not better, than many of the world's best ballet companies. So it's going to be exciting, even though David Bowie scares me.
Scares you?
He does. David Bowie scares me.
Have you seen Labyrinth?
Yes, I did, and that was creepy. Also,
scary as
old man with 15-year-old girl, even more creepy.
Yeah, and his well, we won't say it. I'm just gonna not say it.
Will there be any superheroes involved in this?
No.
So you're saying the only musical
Zoltan, hello.
Would you go see Captain America the musical?
No. No, you're right. Even that wouldn't get me to go see a musical. I remember it wasn't that stupid ass Hawkeye. That made me want to punch the TV, the phone, everything that involved with me seeing that. I wanted to beat the living crap out of the entire. Well, that was bad. Holy mother of God! That was Rogers the musical. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it was unfunny, garbagey, filthy, trashy, poo-poo, garbagey. Shite from him. That made that one the worst. I hated it.
I love this name though, Zan Zoltan.
I like that Zan Zoltan name. Yeah, there you go.
Zan Zoltan says, "Take your shadow and be goneth."
Shadow, as in UFO.
No, we love that shadow. Dun 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 dun. Forget it. Sorry.
Oh, now you're doing Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but it sounds similar to the UFO.
I think we might talk a little bit about Star Trek ships Saturday night. We'll talk about some goofy stuff like that. We'll talk about different, ships, and we'll probably get. I'll see if I can get who should I get on, like Wolfie or Cal or some of those guys to get to chime in about the ships and stuff.
Wolfie is good at that. JT Kirk is good at that.
Well, our engineer knows a little bit about ships.
I might have a few ships in the attic too. Yep, that get pulled down.
Who knows? You never know. Something like that. We might make fun of Counselor.
Camel Toe.
Right, Camel Toe. I can't say that. It's not nice.
Raquel, you can say that, not us.
We used to call it.
You don't have to feel bad because she called. I got it from her. She's the one who said it. I didn't make it up for her.
No, we used to call it Council of Cleavage, though.
Yeah, but she doesn't ever show any cleavage.
Her pancakes
shows
always
a lot
squashed.
of camel toe.
I don't know why we just call her that. I mean,
yeah, uniforms.
She was sort of cleavagey.
Well, that uniform in that outfit when she had that another. What was that when she had the dreams or she got taken over and then she was wearing those skimpy outfits for one episode. What was the name of that episode?
Oh, yes, when she
stupid ass.
Yeah, the ridiculous sex rock, telepathy sex rock.
Yeah.
The name of it will come to me in a minute, but yes, I believe she is.
She was wearing
for that one.
Some of those outfits were wowzers. I'm like, why don't you put her in some of those outfits for this show?
Yeah, but still nothing like Blake 7. I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Jenna,
the female Darth Vader. When you see her, is it cold in here?
Her.
Or the girls in UFO. Wowzers.
The girls in UFO are fantastic.
The girls in UFO are delicious. They're the most beautiful women.
Oh, I love them.
And the thing is that they also are the engine of Shadow. They're his strategic advisors. They do all of the trajectory mathematics. They do all of the predictions for
Yeah, they're treated
how,
as equals. Yeah.
well, they're more than equals. They're in charge of Straker when Straker needs information on something that's incoming. He goes right to those moon base girls, and those moon base girls, they get all the math done, they get all the trajectory, and they get it fed into the computers on Earth, and they deploy the interceptors, and we get the party on.
Oh, no,
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying is, yeah, they're
Very
not
efficient,
just quote unquote secretaries in the
No.
in the show. Yeah, they're.
Oh,
Of course, Straker was using
it.
he was using it.
today.
Yeah, he was using the slide rule tonight. I thought it was awesome. The episode I was watching.
What's
Like
that?
no one's gonna
Oh.
know what that is, what a slide rule is. He got the numbers and they were helping to calculate something.
Yeah.
He did a slide rule.
But your larger point is that if you actually watch UFO, you're seeing a show from 1970 that is way more progressive than anything you'll see on television today, and way more diverse and sincerely diverse.
In the right
more
way,
diverse.
in the best of ways, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just all you need to do is just look at Nina Barry.
Yeah.
That is a woman who is not only one of the most beautiful women to ever be on television, but she's also incredibly important to the astrophysics that are taking place in the defense of Earth.
But you hit upon the problem. You started out by saying she was beautiful. Now, she is. Good Lord, is she? But, and again, don't ever look at this. I'm just going to say this: anyone who saw the new commercials for the latest upcoming Filth Strange new wankers.
Oh my God! No, Raquel, do not. I saw
The
something tonight.
The females on this.
I saw something tonight that's gonna. Oh, I just saw it before we came on.
I'll put it to you like this: without without you seeing it, just to tell you, the females on this show, all of them, and you know who's on there, are completely they're defeminized. They all look. I mean, and again, we've seen examples of what some of these women look like in real life, and they're perfectly lovely. On this show, they're going out of their way to make them look as unfeminine and horrible and unattractive as possible. And I'm not exaggerating. If you see it, it's being done on purpose.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And this is what I mean about this hegemony. It's not enough to add space, but it's to take away space and then occupy that space. And I think that there should be room for everyone, and including people who want to have control over their own bodies. I don't need a corporation telling me what femininity is. And I just don't appreciate it. I think it's all weird. I don't like it. That's why I don't watch that crap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they added another character tonight that I don't think they just premiered on. I just don't want you to know about it because it's going to make you even more angry.
She already knows. I told her all the characters that are going to be on there.
No,
it's just crap.
But you know who else is going to be on there?
Who?
Doctor
Nurse Chapel.
Yeah, I told her that.
What?
You didn't know? I told you that. You probably forgot.
I didn't want to. I thought
and
you
Dr.
knew that.
Mabenga.
I didn't want to let you know.
Oh yeah, I remember when Clubby told me this. Yeah, how do you guys put up with this shit?
I don't.
Well, I'm not copying Spock's new hairstyle. That's for sure.
Well, he looks so bad.
Yeah, you mean the one that makes it look like he has dye dripping down his ears? Did you see my Twitter post on that one?
Oh yeah, it does. He's got a weird, idiotic sideburn type thing.
Yeah, those aren't sideburns. Yep. Dye leaked down from his head onto the side of his face.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Spock isn't a suit. Spock is Leonard Nimoy. The end.
Yes, sir.
So, Cloppy, would you have, getting back to the musicals, would you have gone to see Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark with me?
No, sir. You went to that?
I went to that front row with that.
On purpose?
Yeah, with the kids. Yeah, I got that. And then Spider-Man high-fived my two sons, but did not high-five my daughter, and she's still mad about it to this day. She's like, Spider-Man only gave the boys high fives, not the girl.
I went to Rocky Horror, okay? Go ahead. So wait, Spider-Man, what happened? Sorry.
Well, we were in the front row, so he high-fived my two sons, but not my daughter, and she was so offended. She said, he didn't, Spider-Man didn't high-five me because I'm a girl. And I'm like, he just didn't see you, Nicole. Like,
thank you so much, Eric K, for $2 RAQUEL. They actually love it. They just say, busted.
You made me do the evil laugh.
Busted.
I love you, Eric
shit.
K.
So, Mark, what were you saying?
Well, the stunts in that were amazing. The performers, it was like going to a circus. I have to say that was super incredible. What they'd done, and the music sucked. I don't know what happened to you two on that bottom on the edge.
Stark do Spider-Man.
I've liked a few musicals in my time, but I can't when doing it to a superhero. Look, I couldn't stand "It's a Bird, It's a Plane," and Superman. That was what they did in the '60s.
Yeah, I saw that.
They put it on TV, and like, I want to see Superman, not in a friggin' musical. You jackasses! Why do you think? I was a kid, I was mad. I was like, I get this is supposed to be Superman. He's flying around a musical. No, screw you.
Well, I did go to see.
I think it would be good for dinner theater or the symphony.
That's what it was.
Like if you went to a symphony and they did like all of the soundtracks from Superman, I would be into that. I would definitely.
That was actually the last play I saw because we had our local theater it's dinner theater exactly. They put it on. They did a marvelous job with what they had to work with, and it was fun in a campy kind of way. And it was hysterical. It's like
it has to be campy.
My wife and kids got me tickets to see the Superman musical, and we went out and had a great time. It's my birthday. So it's a birthday treat. So it was
nice.
It was fun.
Hey,
But not for a big
Sorry to interrupt, but McKinney Draws is here.
Hey, McKinney Draws.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you there, sir. Absolutely. Always a pleasure having you pop in there.
Another talented artist in the chat, which is awesome.
Yeah, a very talented artist.
An excellent artist. Yep. Absolutely. Well, let's see here. I guess we can start rappelling it up.
Yep.
Now
everyone. I'm hungry.
No, well, in that case, let's go for another 2 hours. Just to be mean. Everyone, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Again, the announcement was, of course, that what was it? Oh, okay.
Saturday night.
Saturday night Star Trek, of course, will be here. It won't be reviewing any episodes. Number one, we'll be on an away mission, but we will be here the following week, unless you got something else. I'm picky on you. You there?
Another musical. Another.
No, I'm kidding. Yep. And but if you do, it's cool. See, in fact, it's funny, Raquel, when you mentioned that this happened because Mark was kidding around with me the other night on Saturday Night Geek Radio. He was saying stuff like, well, why don't you, after you're done with Trek in a couple of years, do this show or that show? He was naming some other stuff, dude. And I was like, no, before we started reviewing stuff, Saturday night was always going to be Saturday Night Star Trek. And after we're done reviewing it, it's still going to be Saturday Night Star Trek. And we'll do other Star Trek stuff. We're never going to stop talking about Star Trek.
I love you.
Love you more. So, everyone, let's see here. So, Saturday Star Trek, usual same Trek time, same Trek channel. Monday night, Moxie Comics Talk. The great Mark D with a C and the great Lord Thoth will be joining me for a CLOBBERIN classic comic review.
Dun, 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 dun.
The 1982 Marvel Wolverine mini-series by Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, and Joseph Rubinstein. The classic that finally needs to be reviewed Clobby style and will be done. Oh, we'll definitely look. I love Galaxy Quest, so sure, I would love. We'll talk.
Yep.
We'll do a Star Trek special. We'll talk. When we get done with the 735, we're gonna do a Star Trek special where we talk about Galaxy Quest and Forbidden Planet. Boom.
Bossman.
Yes.
Jill also made another comment. She is actually requesting, if you guys are taking requests for Saturday night, she would really like to learn more about shuttlecrafts.
Nice.
Jill, you're on the crew. Okay. You're welcome to join us if you want to, and if not, we'll talk about that. But yeah, you're more than welcome to join us. It's up to you. So, anyway, we'll see if Thoth wants to join. Whatever, we'll go. But yeah, I don't know any more. I don't know any more about shuttlecrafts than you do, but we've got people that do. So we'll talk. I'll have my people contact me. I'll have my advisors contact me, and we will talk about shuttlecrafts and maybe even runabouts. How about that? I like the runabout.
I like this Zan Zoltan person.
Yeah.
Yes, Forbidden Planet. So
Forbidden
instantly,
Planet.
I like Zan Zoltan.
I love Forbidden Planet.
That's the first Star Trek movie.
It is.
Really? It truly is. Zan Zoltan says, "Let's do Forbidden Planet."
Gene liked him Forbidden Planet too. He liked it. He was a fan of it. He was a big fan.
Well, I was always joking. Yeah, I said we got to do Galaxy Quest, the 735.5, and I think you gave me some shin kicks for that one once in a while.
You will get shin kicks, bud.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about
It's
the
worth
captain's
it,
yacht. The captain's yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight on CLOBBERIN Clubhouse, and we will see you soon. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a spinner rack, my spinner rack video done. Have a wonderful rest of your night. A wonderful rest of a wonderful weekend with your April. Don't let anyone fool you for April Fool tomorrow. Why does anyone ever even get away with that now? I don't know. So I want to play you with these messages and then our wonderful intro outro. So big thanks to our great chief engineer. Thanks for being here. And
thank you.
Biggest thanks ever to my wonderful first officer, Commander R.M. Briggs. Thank you so much. Love you. Love you more. And please take a look at these messages about her wonderful works of science fiction and where you can acquire them, and have a wonderful everything I just said before. Weekend, night, all that stuff. Clobber on, clobberers.
I protest. I am not a merry man. For you, Mr. Worf, I would love to explore Klingon memories. Klingons do not allow themselves to be probed.
Cadet, I asked you a question. Am I correct?
I choose not to answer, sir.
You choose not to answer?